You are now listening to the Sae Bae Cast, the #1 old school RuneScape podcast featuring guests from all across Galanor. To support this podcast, visit the Patreon link in the description.
All right, welcome to the Sae Bae Cast number 112 with Box Jonge and JCW. How you boys doing today?
We're doing, well, at least I'm doing pretty good today. But
I'm also doing pretty well.
Hell yeah, love to hear it. So I was a little bit, I was literally just...
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I got a little bit confused today. I was about to record like 3 hours after we had already scheduled it, but luckily you guys were in my stream. So
Yep.
We're here pretty much on time. Now, we've had Box on the cast before, and this was pre-200 mil Max. That's his IRL name, Max. And so we got to kind of talk about that. But this was before you were famous and before the whole speed running thing. And so it was like a different conversation entirely and pre-200 mil.
Yep.
But JCW, this is your first ever time on the cast. Very excited, by the way. And I do respect both of you as incredibly talented gamers. And yeah, it's been cool to see your guys' kind of growth and prevalence in the community kind of getting up there. And just, I don't know, there's like more of like a hype regarding skilling and just speed running in general. I think huge thanks to both of you guys. So
Yep. Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah,
it's like insane how many people have like picked up the like quote unquote speed running. Like Coxie, a cold one. Well, a cold one is actually speed running, but Coxie is just like naming it a speed run for the more of the hype. Which I understand.
Yeah,
like he's like AFKing on his account, so it's not really a speed run.
Yeah, the speed running pets is, I mean, that is just crazy. So
that's insane to me, man. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, because it's just so RNG based. Like, it's very RNG based. With you guys, I mean, you know how many hours roughly you're gonna spend, like almost to the T, I'd imagine.
At the end, especially, but I mean, beforehand, it was like surprising at how like underrated the EHP was for some things.
Yeah, that's true.
What
like we started out with like what was it, like 50 days is what you started out with?
Yeah, my first episode was 50 days because like that was my first time back in like 2 years skilling. I was like, I don't want to like mess up, and then you were like, let's go for 40 days, and I was like, let me do 40 days then. And then like halfway through, we're like 35.
I said 1-to-1 ratio first to like EHP, so 963.
Yeah,
but or is this 40 days?
It's 40 days, 2 hours, like exactly. So.
Okay.
That is so crazy. 40 days to max.
Well, we did it in like 32 and 33 days, so it was even quicker.
So what were the biggest speed ups? Like when we think 40 days, that's like everything's 1-to-1 based on it. What were the speed ups to make it 8 days faster, basically?
Well, crystal crafting was not something I was gonna do like right at the start. I didn't have the money for it, and I wasn't sure like if I could afford it. But yeah, the community helped me out with that. So that was definitely like the biggest save from just one skill, or like 2. You train spitting as well, but that was 55 hours if I believe that was correct. Yeah, we saved with that.
So I'd imagine maybe Slayer was one of the other.
Yeah, Logout Slayer was like Logout Slayer was like a huge difference in my opinion. Like I don't think we really had a plan for melees, and Logout Slayer made that all doable.
Yeah, it was mainly the melees that like were a lot. Well, they were 0 time basically. Slayer wasn't like that much quicker than normal. Like I think I averaged like 125k Slayer with Logout, and like HP is around 100. So yeah, it's mainly like that we didn't have to do like melees afterwards.
So let me take a quick step back. I want to kind of introduce you guys a little bit more. Box, you've been on before, but JCW has never been on. So what is like the background of your gaming experience with old school RuneScape, and kind of what led you into this desire to like speed run maxing?
Yeah, so I started old school in 2016, right after I finished 200 mil all in Earth 3. And I wasn't like a huge fan of Slayer back then, like the Cannon Slayer meta 30, 40k an hour. And I also hated questing, so I kind of just decided to be a level 3 skiller. From there, I mean, I just like I said, I just finished 200 mil on RS3, so I pretty much just walked into old school, and my goal was immediately let's go for 200 mil all. I spent like the first 4 months
Really?
maxing. Yeah.
You straight went for tournament all when playing old
Yeah,
school.
yeah. The
That's
first
crazy.
within 4 months of starting, I was max, and I was like, you know what?
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Like it's funny
Jesus.
because if you look at my account on the XP tracker, you'll see pretty much every skill from 13034 KXP is set to 200 mil because that was the first thing I did after max. I'm like,
Damn.
yeah, let's do this.
I mean, you already had
Um,
experience, of course, in R3, but
yeah,
that's still so insane to go for like 200 mil all in old school, man. Most people who like ended up getting 200 mil all, they like never wanted to get it. Basically, they thought it was impossible at first, but just like after so many years, they eventually got close to it and then started going for it. At least that was
yeah.
the case with me
I
and
mean,
a couple others.
maybe it was. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just figured let's go for as many 200 mils, but I mean, realistically, I had a feeling I was like, I'll probably end up getting 200 mil at the end of the day for this. Like, it's gonna happen at some point. Because back then, I mean, I was playing like 70, 80 hours a week with school, so
Yeah.
there was a lot that I knew I was gonna. I was gonna progress really fast. So
Mm.
Yeah.
And then when did the because I know JCW did you started the speed run for the normal max
yes.
initially. So when was that decision and what made you decide to do that?
So I finished 200 all my level 3 in 2020 summer, and at the time I kind of wanted to max in a speed run because I remember talking with some other people and they were like, yeah, I don't think EHP rates are right. Like it's impossible to max in that short period of time. And I was kind of thinking, I'm like, I kind of want to do this. On one hand, I didn't really want to spend like 4 or 5 bill, but on the other hand, I was like, yeah, it sounds fun. So I just kind of left it on the back burner due to the fact that I didn't want to spend money or learn Sepulk or all this other stuff because there's a lot of methods on the speedrun account that I didn't know of. And then when Group Ironman came out, I played that a little bit and I kind of got in the groove of skilling again for the first time, like a year and a half. And like a few months after that, I just kind of decided, screw it, let's finally run back the Max Cape speedrun series. Let's run it for the first time, see how it goes. It'll be like, because I had a lot of fun coming back for Group Ironman. During that like year and a half, I was kind of like just playing other games, doing random IRL stuff. So, when I decided, let me see if I can max like EHP time, I obviously started the YouTube series as like a way to ensure I don't burn out and kind of like it was more of like a blog rather than a series, like just to make sure that like people can see like how long it takes. Because my main point was wanting to prove that like EHP rates are fine and it's possible to max in that period of time or whatever.
Mm. And then you realized how like they're actually even they're probably lower
Yeah,
than they should be.
not
Or are
necessarily.
they? Is it just simply the
Not
fact that
no.
like well
Yeah,
I
we did some crazy shit, man.
well
Yeah,
here
not necessarily, but like I think Heatbox joining the race made it like an actual. It obviously did make an actual competition. At that point, I wasn't the only one going for it. So yeah, we did some crazy shit that I definitely would not have done like the first week. So I would say they're still pretty accurate for the most part. I mean, there's some scuffed things in my opinion, like having 1.6 bill lying around for an root crafting before you max, like that kind of stuff just isn't viable.
yeah.
But I mean, if you look at the grand scheme of things, like I don't think my goal of the first day of the speedrun series, which was that, I don't think I ended up really doing that over the next 4 months or 8 months because it popped off so much different and better than I expected it to.
Mm. So before we get into this discussion, let's also cover Hebox. If you guys haven't already checked out his previous episode, it's like I can't even remember. Was it episode 24? That's what is ringing. Okay,
24. Yeah.
So Hebox, just a brief introduction, how you got into the game, what your initial. So I guess your story with the game before the speedrun, because I feel like most people know you as the speedrunning Max guy now.
I mean, I always played this game since 2014, and pretty much never took a break since like starting the account Hey Box Jonge. And yeah, I just love skilling, man. Skilling is what I live for. And yeah, I ended up getting 200 mil all after a bit over 7 years. And yeah, I actually always stayed like skilling a little bit. I just logged in a couple hours on my alt after 200 mil alt to do just like some 1.5 tactiques just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just to like relax a bit, listen to some music.
People can't understand the relaxing part about that.
Yeah, I get that question a lot in my stream. Like, how do you like stay sane? And then my answer is always, "Who says I'm sane?" That's always my answer.
Love it.
But where was it going again? I kind of lost track.
So after 200 mil, well, I remember like when I first had you on the cast, you hadn't achieved that, but you were just a couple months away.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was your mindset after achieving 200 mil all?
After 200 mil all, I was like, maybe I should like get alive again. That was kind of my plan, and I kind of did that. I picked up school again, just to like drop it again to pursue like content creation. But yeah, other than that, I played a couple other games in the meantime, and I mean, I always wanted to like do something on RS, but everything was just like so boring. And I tried PVM a little bit. I did Gauntlet on my main, but it just didn't like hit that itch, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started like tier crafting. Well, there was actually someone who reached out to me. Like he said that he was interested in seeing a speedrun for skilling, and I made like a sheet for him with like the methods that you would do, and he kind of like made me like do that. And then I had that sheet already ready, and I like worked on it every now and then, just an hour or two in the evening. And then JCW like dropped this video, and he DM'd me like, "Yo, do you see this?" And I was like, "I kind of have to start now, I think." And then yeah, the rest is history, pretty much.
That's so cool. I just remember like the old, Box channel, like the YouTube channel. It really was kind of like I don't know. I feel like we had similar channels almost. Like we had like little skilling methods here and there, and then
with some music.
Yeah, and then seeing that first episode of yours popping off
was insane.
Yeah. What was your expectation of starting that?
Well, I expected to maybe get like maximum like 10k views. I knew I was like onto something. Like people were interested in this. And I expected like maybe double my subscribers, like to go to like 2k or something, and then get like 10k views on it. That's it. But then like it started off pretty like around like 10k, but then suddenly like the third day it was like at 60k or something. I was all right, what is going on here? And currently it's like 242,000 views the first episode.
Jesus.
Yeah. But the thing is, it has copyrighted music in it, so I didn't make a single dollar of it.
Yep. And that was probably not even the point initially. You were just...
Oh, I didn't expect it to pop off. So I was like, oh, this song is copyrighted, but I really like it, and I put it in. But yeah. Well, I wasn't monetized to begin with anyway, so...
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, I don't think either of us expected to make any money off of this in the first episode.
No.
Yeah. So also, yeah. So let me ask JCW. So, what were your sort of expectations with this? Did you think this would kind of like be a popular thing in the community initially, or did you think this would be a very niche thing for your viewers?
I thought it was going to be niche. I never made YouTube videos before this. Like, I think I had like 3 videos all related to rune crafting because I was kind of like helping Essence Running kind of just take off. And they were all made for that and no other reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said earlier, like I was just kind of making it as like a blog to like make sure like whoever thinks that like EHP might take too long or whatever, they can just follow it. I was really taken aback, like when a month later I'm seeing like even myself, I went from like 300 subs to like 5k or whatever. I'm like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden I'm monetized, and I'm like, okay, I guess this is gonna turn into a thing. I like upgraded my editing. I started putting in a lot more effort for all that stuff.
So let me ask about the whole editing thing, because I don't feel like you guys are naturally. Like, I don't think the reason you did this was to get better at editing and get better at becoming a quote unquote professional YouTuber. You really just wanted to skill and just share it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
So how was that felt? How was like the skills that you've been learning into editing? Has that been a fulfilling thing, or is that something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really like editing as well, but starting it is sometimes a little bit difficult. But once I'm like on the roll, then I'm like loving it. Like it's actually so fun and satisfying to make something that you're actually proud of.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
When I'm like making the video, I'm like, is this really gonna work? But then I finish it and I watch it back. I'm like, damn, I really like this episode, and then I like put it out. So
and what about you, JCW?
Nice
yeah, pretty much the same feelings. Like I like when I was starting, I was like finishing up my last semester in school, and I like unironically, I always said it was like starting like when it started popping off, and I started like actually having expectations. It really felt like homework. Like I was dreading to start it, but the second I actually started it, it was so fun to like go through. And like I was excited to get the final result and all that stuff. I mean, homework, I'm just excited to get it done, but editing, it was like when I'm done, I rewatch it and then I see how it does, and I'm like, yeah, this is really nice. It's just the matter of starting that's like, but I'm still kind of learning that bit.
That's so cool. So what? Now you guys have just finished. Well, just like what, a month ago or something. The
like
normal max.
It was like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys finished that, and very close finish as well. Now you guys have started another journey, but on different account modes that are iron modes. So JCW, you're doing normal Ironman, and Hebox is doing UIM. What made you guys decide that? I guess we'll start with Hebox.
Well, of course, it was a huge success, so we have to like keep going with this, I feel like. But I always had a sweet spot for Ultimate Ironman, man. It's just such a cool game mode that you don't have access to a bank, because I kind of dislike banking sometimes. It gets so messy, man, always, my banks. Like when I like my speedrun account for the main, it was such a mess, my bank. I couldn't find anything, and I don't know. So having
And there's no
Ultimate Ironman
time
is
to
just-
organize it either.
Yeah, it's so simplistic. I love it, man. So yeah, that was a no-brainer for me that I was gonna do Ultimate Ironman.
Okay, and what about you, JCW, with the normal?
Yeah, for me, I mean, like I said, I came back to RuneScape skilling after getting to enroll like a year and a half later because Group Ironman came out, and I kind of had fun. Like I followed OSRS guide, getting like barrels gloves, and I had fun doing that like early game Ironman. And I mean, I never really played Ultimate Ironman before, and like 3 weeks before I finished, I mean, some guy that was testing out like the guy that I'm using was messaging me about his path on like Ironman. I'm like, you know what, this sounds really cool. Like let's kind of like theory craft like what's already theory crafted and like make bumps here and there. And I mean, by the time I finish my current series, I'm already like probably 25% of the way like theory crafting Iron Man. And Iron Man theory crafting is like 10 times worse than the main. Like there's just so much different stuff.
Yep. Yeah, there's a bunch of dailies as well that now I believe you still have to do kind of like those dailies in main man mode, but I think just the farming and the birdhouses and all that stuff, I feel like it adds up.
Iron Man's like a million times worse.
Dude, I already struggled with normal farming, man. I almost didn't finish that in time.
Yeah, I remember that.
So what are you dreading most from these new account modes?
Farming.
Okay.
For me, dude, I'm dreading Slayer. I don't want someone to like come into my chat or like message me on Discord and say, "Hey, log out Slayer works." I don't want to redo that. That's the thing I'm dreading the most. Like, I don't want to have to redo log out Slayer, please.
I mean, some tasks will be beneficial to do logout Slayer from, like somewhat.
Yeah.
At least I have some.
No, I think I do too, and I mean, I'm not looking forward to it.
It's all. The thing is with logout Slayer, like it sucked, but on the other hand, it wasn't that bad. It just took a very long time, and we weren't used to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like 300 hours on one skill. I mean, I can only imagine Iron Man's going to be longer if it's logout as well.
Dude,
so
my Slayer is like over 400 hours on Ultimate Iron Man. It's like 30k an hour.
Oh God.
But like imagine that, but you have to log out as well, and it ends up being like 15 or even 20k. It's just
yeah,
man.
just yeah.
I'll manage.
So, do you think main man or just like normal mode was probably the most fun you'd have, and now these are more tedious, but obviously there's still content to get from it? Or are you actually looking more forward to these Iron Man modes?
Well, I've been playing it for quite a bit. I already have like over 100 hours on my Ultimate Iron Man, and so far it's been pretty annoying with all the questing.
Oh, I can only imagine.
But I'm really looking forward to like actually doing skills, because Ultimate Iron Man is very like complex but also very simplistic at the same time. With like the skills, you do like one skill, like you don't skill hop on on Ultimate Ironman pretty much, which is nice because it takes a lot of time to like set up your inventory again for other stuff. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing like skilling, especially Slayer actually, even though there might be some logout stuff, but I don't know, it's just very cool, I think, to do Slayer on Ultimate Ironman and bank just like Prayer and Herblore for the most part. So we'll see.
Now,
Well,
is this
bank, like get it passively, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Is this like your first time playing Ironman modes for both of you?
Well, no. JCW said he was playing a group Ironman, and I also
Yeah.
played a group Ironman for a little bit, not together, but
But that's
I
not
played with.
really like, I don't know. I feel like group Ironman is it's
I know a lot of
different.
people play it as group Ironman, but like with the nerds that I was playing with, it was basically we all play solo Ironman in a group.
Oh,
So
okay. I see. I see.
Well, you still have to do some like early game Ironman. I didn't really play it
That's
for
true.
that long. I got a quest cape and I did some gauntlets, and at the time I was like 1500 or 1400 dry on my main at gauntlet for the pet, and then I got it at like 10 kc on the group Ironman, and then I quit.
I don't think I ever got that far because every time my group we were like all wanting to try hard, and then one person would quit, and I go to a new group, and I got like 3 accounts to Barrel's Gloves, and like 85 farming, and then they just kept quitting one by one, and I was like, you know what, forget this game mode,
Man.
it's not for me.
I mean, it was fun on release, but yeah, it's
Yeah, it was.
definitely not a long-term game mode.
No, it's just I just can't imagine like 3, 4, 5 people all committing to like thousands of hours, like brand new. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's insane.
What is the difference between like the feeling of skilling from going to 99 and then going 99 to 200 mils in skills? Like, what do you prefer? Do you just prefer the 99 method going, or do you kind of like the upgrades that you get and then stopping at 99? JCW, I'll have you start first.
Um, Honestly, hard for me to say. I hate skill hopping in the sense that like when I have to learn something new, especially like when I was learning Sepulchre, I remember like that was like actually one of the longest grinds anyway. But like learning 4-4 because I've never done it before this account, and then getting 92, having learned 4-5. I like that on one hand, but on the other, it was easier once I had everything out of the way and ready and already learned. So I probably do prefer the 200 mil grind, but at the same time, I mean, doing early levels and seeing all those level ups, like on my Iron Man when I was doing fire making, like it was just so satisfying to see how quick I was actually leveling up. But I mean, I imagine not obviously not every skill is going to be as fast as fire making was, so there's that as well. But seeing the quick level ups is nice.
All right, Hebox.
I would say a 200 mils is much more fun in terms of like the grind perspective. Getting 99s is kind of like whatever. You play for a week and you get 99 in a skill. So, and then you finally like got in the groove for the skill, and then oh, it's done. And
Yep.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's like very different. Like we are kind of insane compared to the rest of the player base, but yeah, just like grinding every day for 200 mils is just something different, man. It's very fun.
It's that flow state.
Yeah, like it's not even like you wake up not really expecting anything special to happen, but I don't know. It's just like it feels nice to like progress in a skill. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I don't feel like most people feel the same way as you guys just said, because you don't
Yeah.
get that dopamine of level ups, but the dopamine really is the grind for people that go for 200 mils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't even know if I would like want to call it like the dopamine, but it just I don't know. It's kind of a weird feeling. Like I don't really enjoy it or like get a kick from it, but it's just nice to like stick to a routine or something.
What was the feeling for both of you achieving your biggest goal of 200 mil all? Now for JCW it was on a skiller account, but for you it was
You forgot Slayer, man.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah. As soon as Jagex releases a Slayer method, I'll get on that. But until then, I refuse to do it 2K an hour. I actually concluded getting 0K an hour is better than 2K, so that's not happening.
Yeah.
But achieving 200 mil all, I mean, my last like 6 months of the grind, I got a lot busier. I started working full time IRL, so I mean, I guess when I was done, it was more of like not really what am I gonna do now because I still had like a lot of things I was doing IRL at the time, but I definitely like lost that like little like 5 hours a night, going to bed at 1 a.m., waking up at 6:30 or whatever, like consistently. I lost that, and I was just kind of like sleeping a lot more. I remember that
5 hours a night?
5.5 to 6 was usually my like grind around. When the time I was doing 200 mil, and then I would have like
That's insane,
occasional
man.
like I would have like an occasional like month where I'm just like burnt. Like I know with mining it happened a lot because mining was like my last 200 mil. That
Hmm.
or it wasn't my
Yeah.
last 200 mil, but it was my last like big grind because I remember two tick fishing was actually last, but I love that skill, so that wasn't a problem. But like mining was just hard for me to stay on top of. I remember that. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I was busier IRL, so there wasn't really that much of a change or difference for me.
Hmm.
I was only playing like 20, maybe 30 to 35 hours a week at the time versus the first like 3.5 years when I was playing like 70, 80, sometimes 100.
Mm-hmm. Here, give me 1 second. I'm gonna edit this part out. I got to turn off my AC unit. It's distracting
Oh,
me.
okay.
Give me 1 second.
Sure. I do hear something now in the back.
I didn't hear it until just now.
Yeah. AC Andes.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Oh yeah, you don't have AC.
Nope. Dude.
Yeah. You probably don't need AC, do you?
Uh,
Or there's probably
well,
some hot days, I guess.
we can talk about it. Don't edit this out.
Okay, go.
I'm dreading summer for like this year because normally I just sit in my boxers like all day. If I'm gaming, sitting like in my boxers at the PC. But when I'm streaming, I don't think I can do that on Twitch.
Start streaming on
You can on
OnlyFans.
Kick. Yeah, just do it on Kick.
You can? Oh, my
Probably.
system. No.
I have no idea.
But it like I'm sitting on the attic where my setup is, and it gets incredibly hot in the summer. Like if we have like a 30-degree or like I'm talking Celsius here, I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but if it's like 30 degrees here, my room is probably like 38 or something.
Oof.
That's
86 for the Americans and 100 in the room. If
Oh
38.
God.
yeah.
That's
And
unbearable.
then and then have like a headset on while the PC is running like 14 hours a day or something. Like I used to be able to like push through that during the summers, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna do that this summer.
Do you not
I
have
might be.
fans?
I mean, yeah, but they just don't.
I mean, I guess they don't help like
No,
significantly, but you're gonna
you're
have to
just
buy
like
like three or four.
blowing warm air through the
And
room.
they're
Yeah.
annoying. Fans are like,
Oh, they
especially if
definitely
you're
are annoying.
streaming and you just have a bunch of like noise just blowing.
Yeah.
It's just annoying.
Yeah, I always had to like turn my fan off when I was going on voice or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not sure how I'm gonna like do that this summer. Like I might have to stream like really early in the morning and then just like the rest of the day just like go outside or something, just go swim.
Yeah.
But hopefully it doesn't like get that hot. Maybe for a week or something.
If it repeats the last like 4 years, I don't think you're in luck because I've had friends from the EU complaining to me every year about how hot it is. So,
Uh it was actually pretty bearable last year, I feel like.
oh,
But we'll
okay.
see. We'll see.
Yeah, good luck.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
so Jagex has announced that sailing was the skill that passed. Now it's not a guarantee that it's coming out into the game, but it's pretty highly likely that it will be coming into the game. Probably in the next 2 to 3 years. I doubt it'll be any earlier than that. So what are you guys' thoughts on sailing? And then I also want to ask your thoughts. Like, are you gonna stop everything to go grind that out on your guys' mains?
Well, I'm sailing gang, so I'm very happy that sailing passed.
Hell yeah.
Or sailing won, I should say. But I'm definitely going like hard for sailing on my main. I want a single digit rank. That's my goal. I'm
Do-
ranked 19 overall right now, and I want like at least rank 9.
Okay. I want to ask a further up question, but let me ask also JCW on the sailing. What are your thoughts on it as well?
I mean, I didn't really want a new skill in the first place, and now that sailing's like officially voted in, I think after it got, I didn't vote because I mean I didn't really care what the skill was. At the end of the day, I mean I'm gonna have to train it either way. It's whatever. But when sailing got voted in, I think I was just kind of like, wow, this game's actually just bringing like a meme into the game as like a natural skill. So I was kind of like, I don't know where this is going, but I mean I'll just keep quiet. I'll get 200 mil when it comes out, and then whatever happens, happens. RS3 is releasing a new skill, and I've never played on a new skill release since Invention was released in like 2015 or early 2016, I think. And I'm gonna try that when it comes out. And depending how I enjoy that, that's when I'll decide if I'm gonna go hard and old school on it or not. Because realistically, I mean, it's a level 3. It's not like I have like a top spot on the high scores I
Yeah.
can secure or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I can't guarantee I'll pause everything or won't pause anything. I think it really depends how I enjoy the RS3 one first. And then if I enjoy it, I'll redo it. If I don't enjoy it, then it's whatever. But I will get 200 mil no matter what. It's just a matter of dropping everything.
Yeah. Now, what are your what are your predictions, I guess, for who's gonna secure the So obviously, there's gonna be players rushing for 200 mil Slayer, and 200 mil Sailing, and there will be some of those players that haven't achieved 200 mil all, but they're still gonna be pushing to get rank 1 in the skill. But for those that have already achieved 200 mil all, what are your guys' predictions for who's gonna secure a rank 1 spot? Overall.
There are a couple contenders. I get this question on stream quite a bit when we talk about the new skill. Like they always ask, like, "Are you going for rank 1?" I'm like, "No, I probably won't get it." And then the follow-up question is like, "Who's getting the rank 1 spot?" And my answer is always Rodney Farva or Fast LT. Not sure if you know him.
I haven't heard of a second name now. I've heard of
Fast
Rodney.
LT is he got to them all like couple months ago, but he's insane, man. He did it pretty much just as quick as Farva. He also did it in like 4 years or something, just like 200 mil all.
Holy shit. 40 years. That is just nuts.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He played like 120 hours a week for like the majority of it, at least the end.
Holy fuck.
So he's a demon. And Fior is also if he has time IRL, he's also like capable of putting up the 140 weeks if needed. So those 3 would probably be my guesses.
Man, and you want to secure a single digit rank?
That's because like rank 1 is not happening for me. I'm terrible at playing like more than 110 hours a week. 110 is probably my max that I can maintain if I really need to. But I still want to go to the gym like 4 times a week or something and at least get some sun.
Yeah.
So I'm going for like 14 hours a day-ish, I think.
So
and sleep like 6 or something.
The real question, at least in my head, is like, what are the XP rates going to be from Sailing when the metas are fully fledged out? And I was thinking, like, honestly, I could see Sailing being 300k XP an hour. I could see that. Now, it's not to say that will be the case. I mean, obviously, it could just be like 100k. I doubt it, but somewhere in between 100 and 300k, I actually can see that.
Yeah, that's probably gonna happen. Well, I'm not sure like what I can share some things. Like I've been on the NDA group for the new skill. Not sure if I don't think you knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I mean, the NDA was mainly for like the 3 pitches that we got them presented first, and then we had to give feedback. But I asked the team what their like ballpark was for XP rates, and they said like similar to you, like we don't want the players to like finish 99 in like 2 days or something. So it's probably gonna be like around 200k ish for like at 99 is what they like aiming for, hopefully.
Okay.
So it's probably gonna be like 800 hours to 1000 hours for 200 mil, which is good. Like you don't want to have it like too quick. That it's like a skill like prayer or construction, because that's just boring for a race. But you also don't want to make it like a 60k an hour skill, man. That's gonna take like 3000 hours, taking a year of people's life away.
Now, I didn't ask JCW. Do you have any different predictions on who would get rank 1, or are you kind of?
I don't really talk to that many people on like overall top, and I'm not like as engaged in it. But I mean, one name that I've spoke to Viewer a lot when he was doing 200 mil all, and I mean, I would definitely put him up there, but I think he would really only get it like Max said. It depends on IRL if he actually wants it or if he's just gonna chill with it. Like I think it's his own decision if he wants to chill with it or not.
Yeah.
I
think
talked
he
about this.
works right now, Viewer, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he does, but I mean, like I said, that's what I'm saying. Like he'll make a decision. Like, do I want to go hard in it or do I not? And I think it'll decide from there. And I remember
Dude,
talking about this
he
on
loves it, man.
stream. Oh, I know. I remember. And then I was talking about this once on stream, and someone else name dropped Bailey as like someone similar. Same thing, like very busy IRL. It's just a matter of do I want to drop everything for it. Other than those two names, I honestly have no fucking idea what's gonna happen. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see both of those names being up
I
there.
think Fior is more likely than Bailey. I think Bailey has like moved away a bit more from like the online stuff, and Fior is
yeah,
pretty
yeah, that's what
active
I'm
still.
saying. So like, if he's not gonna show no interest in trying to go for rank 1, then obviously it's not gonna be there.
Yeah,
But it's just a matter of do you want it, and are you willing to drop things for it?
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's not like it's not as crazy of a commitment as like 200 mil all. Obviously, it's just one skill to get it. Now,
Right.
yeah.
I do have a few concerns. What if sailing is better XP in teams? I have no idea how you're going to be able to train sailing, and we're going to see in the upcoming months what their pitch is for it. But are you worried? Are you guys concerned that there's going to be some team elements that give you higher XP rates? And what are your thoughts on, especially when the skill initially comes out, there is going to be unknown metas. Do you feel confident that you'll be able to, kind of discover those metas, or are you going to be relying on other players to figure those out for you?
I mean, there will be playtests,
That's true.
so I'm not really sure like how in depth they are gonna be. I hope they are not like too in depth because figuring stuff out when the thing is live is, in my opinion, more fun, and it takes away like the magical experience of logging in and doing a new skill for the first time. So I kind of hope you only see like a playtest of like the movement from the ships and stuff. And what was the question again?
The other question was, are you concerned that some of the skill might be team based?
No, I don't think that will happen.
Okay. So you think solo, like just being able to play on your own, will be the
Yeah,
efficient way to train it?
yeah, I don't think they will add like a, because then it's gonna be like more of a mini game again, and people don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's gonna be like a group thing. That might come later, but like a sailing mini game or like a sailing boss or a raid even. So yeah, I'm not too concerned.
Okay. And what about you, JCW?
Um, as for the part of it being team based, a lot of people are going to disagree with me here, but I love when people find alts or other players to like boost their XP rates.
I mean,
I
alt is
think
fine, but I don't want to like turn it like for it to turn in like Runecrafting 2.0. Like
Mm-hmm.
alts
not
are
like
fine
not
to
like
boost
not like
it, but
yeah, not like 3 times more XP an hour with alts, but more so
yeah,
just like I hope it does use some alts or players to boost XP rate just slightly, like 10-15%. Like a good example would be I don't know in old school. I think of an example in Earth 3, but like imagine like a skill in old school was fast, but you could buy something in the GE to make it like 10% faster, or in this case, in this new skill, you would have to use alts to farm it since there wouldn't really be any in the GE. I think something like that would make it a little more interesting than just strictly everyone can maximum get 100K an hour playing their own single account. I think that'll make
yeah,
it more interesting.
for
So
sure.
I'm actually hopeful that that becomes a thing. I know a lot of people would probably disagree because they hate making money, they hate spending money, but I mean, I think it'll make the race a lot more interesting, especially if I'm not going to be in the race. It makes it a lot more fun to watch. Like I remember when
Hmm.
Invention came out in RS3, I remember this guy, Scuzzy, he was like going for rank 1. He was about to be rank 1. And then all of a sudden, Lee Me drops fucking like 100 bill RS3 and gets rank 1 in like 24 hours. It was like the funniest thing
Uh,
ever. I'm not sure if you guys remember that.
That's
And I
ridiculous.
actually
no.
thought it was hilarious that the guy did that. Like randomly, he just discovers something. He spends his whole bank, whatever. I thought that was
No way.
hilarious. So if we have something like that, I mean, I'll crack up watching it. So if
Yeah,
something like that happened, I wouldn't be mad. I think it would be funny.
yeah, but I think this game has been like evolved so much in like efficiency scape that anything that you like can speed up your rates with buyable stuff is not gonna be fun. But I do agree with you that if there's like a method that gets like 10% better or something if you try hard with an alt, that's definitely like more competitive in terms of
Yeah.
like skill gap for the skill. So yeah, I would like to see some use of alts, but not like excessive use of runners.
Yeah, I agree 2 to 3 times faster is a little excessive. But like a
Yeah,
small 10 to 20% where like after the race is over, the normal training method won't use that 10 to 20%. It was strictly for the race. That would be like the perfect idea of balancing in my opinion.
yeah. But
Yeah,
where would you use like alts or runners for like sailing?
I don't know. I mean,
if it's gonna be sailing.
the example I always think of is like Divination Earth 3, where like it's a simple gatherer skill where you just train it. But if you had an alt like gathering stuff for you and training it over, your XP rate goes up like 10-15% an hour on release. That's what I think of, because the stuff you could buy in the GE, but there's none in the GE because it already required high level to get, and like everyone was brand new. So like something like that would be something that I would be like, yeah, this would be really interesting. It would make it a lot of fun. It would make the race like someone going for 200 mil instead of like paying people, like if say the requirement was 95 sailing to get the item to make it like 5% faster, they would have to train up their own alts, and then those would be farming supplies to feed the main. I don't know, it all sounds like crazy, but I mean, I think it would make it a lot more interesting.
Yeah, I almost feel like that's inevitable, that there will be speed ups with alts. That's almost every skill.
That is fun.
Yeah, and I think that's actually appropriate. And if you don't like playing that way, that's why there's Ironman mode, because you just if you want.
I have a feeling it's going to cater heavily to Ironman. But
yeah,
I mean, I think a lot of people.
It's pretty unlikely that it will be heavily used of alts. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. Like you get this XP rate and like no more.
Yeah.
But maybe there's like some interesting strats that you can pull off. Like I don't know. Like we still don't really know how you get sailing XP.
Yeah, no idea. I'm like in my head, I'm just thinking, okay, you're gonna go on like maybe expeditions or something, and then at the end you're gonna get a big drop.
Yeah, that's
zero
I don't
idea.
Think they wanted. I don't think they want to do it exactly like that. But I've been talking with Gentle Tractor and Screedmunch quite a bit, and Gentle Tractor has a really good idea for like the main like core of sailing.
What is it? Are you able to share?
Well, I can. He wants to make it a little bit more into a gatherer skill actually, instead of like a utility or like an exploring skill. But I can't explain it like that well, like he can. But he might make like one of those pictures he makes, you know?
Yeah.
He might make that soon. He said, and he's gonna discuss it with Mod Husky as well.
So, I love those Giga Brains in the community. Both of them, Screetmonge and Gentle Tractor, just incredible.
Yeah, I'm just like sitting there when those two are talking. I'm just like listening, man. I'm not on their level, but it's really fun to like somewhat like work together with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see what Jagex's pitch is, because if people are thinking of sailing, every single person has a different idea of what they're imagining sailing being. And so seeing that pitch is going to either disappoint a lot of people, or it's going to actually excite them a lot more.
What is your idea of sailing then?
Personally, I've been kind of sharing a few things on my rambles. One of them really is just the navigation. I've been really thinking of, just having the mini map itself be the navigational tool. And I was even thinking, get rid of
like clicking the mini map.
That is how I personally see sailing working, is like navigating your boat would only be done through the mini map. But
what if you like click the opposite direction? Would your ship like do a full 180?
I don't know. I think the actual navigation of the boat, how it moves, I think is I don't think it's really necessary to think of what Jagex is deciding for that.
Just fishing controller.
But I think just moving your boat through the mini-map is the most natural way, in my opinion. And then your character is actually on the boat in the main screen. So you could, for example, this is, in my opinion, this is what I've been thinking of for sailing, is you'd have your guy on the boat, and if an encounter comes in the water, or, maybe a pirate ship or whatever the hell happens, you could still attack, and you could still repair your ship, and you can do things with your player, but you can still navigate and kind of dodge things through the mini-map, just moving your boat. That's my opinion, though. Do you guys have any thoughts on how navigation is going to work?
I don't think that's going to work. Like, we also have to imagine that some, like, Billy Bobs are playing with a gigantic client with a mini-map, like, all the way in the top right. That's not going to work for them, I think.
But, so are you just moving your ship? Are you even able to move your player then? Or is your player just gone now and you are your boat?
I would say you are your. Yeah. Do you say you want to like walk around on the boat while it's moving?
Yeah. I think
that's impossible. I think that's engine-wise a nightmare.
I don't think it actually is a nightmare, personally.
Well, if the boat is also moving and it has to like keep track of like the player also able to move, I'm pretty sure that is like currently not possible.
It would just have to, I'm obviously not an engine dev or a game developer at all, so I don't know the capabilities of what they have.
I'm pretty sure that is like a nightmare for them to have it work like that, because this is what the like Streetmon said. Like if another ship is like colliding with you or like going through you, like then the game has to like figure out like the walkable tiles of both ships, and you might be able to like jump someone else's ship on accident, if you know what I mean. If the tiles collide, you suddenly are stuck on someone else's ship. So that is like not good.
Yeah, you're right about that. There is definitely some functionality that has yet to be determined. I was also thinking, what if boats actually just couldn't stack? But
you would be able to wreck everyone, man. You just like put a line of boats somewhere at a port and no one can enter.
Yeah, what you'd have to do is just hop worlds or whatever. Again, I don't know, but it feels unnatural for your boats to stack unless the idea in my mind is that the boats are going to be actually like medium sized. They're not just going to be like 1x2 tiles floating around. I think some people probably have that in mind. I have no idea what the boat sizes are going to be. Do you have any thoughts, JCW? Or Hebox?
No, I think go first.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the real solution would be let's instance sepulcher and then let's instance sailing and then we're good to go. But I mean, realistically, I have no clue. I mean, I was memeing about the instance sepulcher. I mean, not really that needs to happen, but sailing, I have no clue how it's gonna work.
Dude, they're instancing Tide Farm. They need to instance sepulcher.
Yeah, I don't know how Tide Farm beats sepulcher, for instance, coming first, but
Ironman.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, Ironman.
Man.
They really could just instance sepulcher. Just a side note. I mean, just even have like a one-time payment and just do it. Like,
but the thing is, this sepulcher is like shared instance. Like sometimes you go in a different instance with someone.
Yep.
Like if you're both on like floor 4 and you enter at the same time, you just don't see them on floor 5 sometimes. So
yeah, it's weird. Like there already are instances. Just make it fully instanced.
Yep. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, but I personally think being able to like go under other people's boats feels weird too, unless they are absolutely. Also in my head, I'm thinking potentially in the future there will be some sort of PvP regarding sailing, where it's not obviously for XP, it's just for fun. You just go out and battle each other's ships. Who knows if that's even on the table or if the community even wants it? I mean, I personally want it.
Yeah, they should do that, I think.
But then you can't have boats going in each other. That just can't work.
Not in PvP, I think. But yeah, I agree with you that it feels weird to have like boats like go on top of each other. But like the other thing is like you're gonna be able to rag everyone if you're like not able to go through everyone. It's gonna be not fun, I think.
Yeah, like, that is a problem.
Like it's gonna be fun to like annoy people, but it doesn't make for for good gameplay. Like if you're gonna allow other people to like collide with your boats and just like maybe do damage to their boats or something, it's gonna just turn into GTA Online, but then on water.
I don't think the damaging would be a part of it. It would just be like. And who knows, maybe there would be like an area, like maybe you don't actually have to drive your whole boat up to the dock and station, but there would just be a general area where you can be like, okay, dock boat, and it just automatically does it for you. Who knows, and maybe you couldn't even hop worlds, because like imagine somebody hops a world and your ships are just on the exact same tiles, like that would break it. But what if whenever you hop worlds, you're back at the port, so you can't actually hop worlds at all when you're on a boat? Who knows?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like right now it's just way too premature to even like consider what's going to happen. But
it's fun to like talk about it, though.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how it all works.
I think for like the movement, it would be the best, I think, to have like a different like pathfinding algorithm that you have to like click in a certain like direction, like different tiles in like if you want to turn, you want to like click 3 different tiles or something in that direction to like slowly turn that way. That would be the most like realistic and also feel somewhat natural to like click and like walk to that tile.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do like full 180, so you have to like click in like a big circle basically to turn around, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of going back to the point of using the mini map only to move. I feel like whatever the Pathfinder is for boats, I feel like it actually would make it more simple to just use the mini map because then
yeah, okay.
yeah.
Now I see what you mean. Yeah,
like the
like if
Pathfinder would
if
just
you click
automatically move
somewhere,
your boat.
yeah, and then it moves in like a normal way, like a boat should move.
Yeah.
It moves you to that. Okay.
And I was even thinking, because now that they're zooming out and zooming in, and this is, again, in my head, I'm thinking the boats are slightly larger where your guy's actually on the ship. If your ship gets damaged, your player actually repairs it, and there's maybe a bank chest, you can just like bank stand. But you could zoom out your mini map and literally just click a destination that's super far away and then just do whatever you're doing on your boat while your ship just takes you.
Okay.
Who knows, though?
It could work.
Okay, so I'm going to go on the Twitter topics and ask. So, bending time, first topic I see here is bending time. He's asking, what are your favorite ways to keep yourself occupied when not streaming but still playing? So, yeah. Either of you can go first.
I'll go first then. I type a lot on Discord, like way too much, more than I should, more than likely. I definitely keep myself occupied through that. Other than that, I just like listening to music. I mean, I know a lot of RuneScape players. I think 200 rollers as well watch a lot of like movies and shows, but I really don't spend that much time doing that. It's more so just typing on Discord, keeping up to date with everyone, and then listening to music as I go.
Okay.
Like back in your prime days for skilling, did you just listen to music?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, same. I'm a big music fan, as most of you guys know, but I would say I probably spend like 10% of all my gaming time on like voice, like with the boys. That's not that much, but just like a couple hours like in the evening sometimes. But usually it's just like music. Probably like 80% is just listening to music, and the other like 10% is probably just watching some YouTube or well, I didn't really watch that many shows or movies while going for 200 mil. I definitely watched a lot more like anime after 200 mil. But yeah, just music mainly.
Okay, now here's the real question. Do you guys play with game sounds at all?
Nah, man. Come on.
None at all?
None.
I don't. I turn them on for Wintertot and Inferno. That's it.
Okay.
I didn't even have them on for Wintertot.
It's nice for Wintertot because you can kind of like close your eyes and just listen, and then it's like, oh, gotta click. But yeah.
You're speedrunning. You're not allowed to close your eyes.
Not even
I am
blinking.
when the meta is AFKing Wintertot.
I've always been on Sae Bae casts, I obviously turn off all my audio, but I've always been a person that has at least the music's always off, but the game sounds are slightly on. I feel like there's a lot of places, Sepulchre being one of them, that actually helps me just hearing the flames shoot out. I don't even really need to look at my screen. I can just feel the rhythm through the sounds. So
I can see
it's
that.
helpful.
And it helps with PVM. Like when I did Inferno as well, I of course had them on, but when I'm skilling, they stay off, man. I don't want to hear my like guy fletching, trying to fletch a mahogany log every 1.8 seconds. I'm good.
Now that I think about it, I think I did have game sounds on when I did rune crafting. Actually, I love the sound of the altar just going every like 3 seconds.
Okay. I had it on my main, like when I started RCing for like maybe 10 mil XP, but then I turned it off.
Yeah,
So
that was the only time I could think of.
Yeah.
I actually want to briefly touch on RC in general as a skill. So running became very popular years back with ZMI, and then everybody kind of adapted to lava runecrafting with runners. Do you guys miss the traditional super old school method of just doing solo runecrafting and like solo lavas? Do you kind of have that nostalgia, or was it totally fine just scrapping all that?
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, I mean, for me, I was a level 3, so my best thing was Zaya runecrafting, and I mean, I kind of I kind of might have accidentally made the Essence Running Discord and turned ZMI into like this consistent 160k an hour thing.
He's the founder.
Oh shit. Okay, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I had actually heard of that. I think. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. A lot
Ringing
of
a bell.
people say like I ruined rune crafting or whatever. So I mean, I love running. I love rune. I made like I literally funded most of my well, the second half of my 200 mil I funded running for other people. I mean, it was great money back then. I mean, so I can never do like traditional solo rune crafting. I do actually love solo rune crafting, but I mean, running's something separate. I love it just as much, if not more. So, I mean, I'm glad running became a thing. I do miss ZMI. I wish it never got nerfed, but lava rune crafting's faster, even though it's like 10 times more expensive. So,
Yup.
it's whatever.
Kind of the ZMI nerf made rune crafting even worse. Like ZMI was pretty doable for most people to like afford. I think it was like, what was the GPU per XP for ZMI?
So
Like
yeah,
60?
the way I did it was I ran two ults myself and paid two runners. It was
Yeah.
160k an hour, and you spend like 6 mil an hour and get 2 mil back in runes. So you'd spend like 4 mil an hour for 160k. Now you spend like 28 mil for 250k. It's like
Yup.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely like not even viable for 200 mil. There's no one who has done 200 mil rune crafting with their own money.
Really?
With runners.
Wow.
Yeah. At Lavas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I don't
also
remember
said,
taking
yeah.
loans for
No,
ZMI, but yeah, I
at
mean,
Lavas.
yeah, thankfully I finished 200 mil all way before
Oh,
the nerf.
or
Or
services.
200 mil rune crafting, sorry. Yeah, services as well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
always
literally.
There's no one who made all their money from like playing Rune Dragon alts or like Spiritual Warriors.
Yeah, when I was like just starting like the Essence Running Discord, it was a matter of I would wake up early in the day. If no runecrafters were posting, it would mean I post and I runecraft that day. And if someone was posting and no one's filming, it was like, oh, time to run and make money to fund my later session. And I would just swap
Nice.
between already agiled and make money like AFK on the side, run for other people and runecraft for myself. I just did that for like 4 or 5 months, however long it took for 200 mil runecrafting.
Jesus. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm still now I'm not a main account, so it really doesn't affect me at all, but I always get bothered by really arbitrary updates such as you randomly can't trade in this area because that's how we're going to get rid of like it's so stupid. I'm still really butthurt about that even though it literally has no effect on me whatsoever. It just feels off. It feels really stupid.
Shout out to Cave Horror for making that happen, because they nerfed it the same day that he did POH specking alts. They finally decided let's bring the hammer down on ZMI at the same time.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Unlucky. That was so stupid.
Do you think they'll ever bring it back, or is it just because I don't know?
It doesn't matter anymore, man.
Yeah, I don't
it
think
really doesn't. You're right.
Yeah.
I remember being hopeful of it and early on in my account because someone tweeted about it, and then I don't think anyone realistically cares. Lava rune crafting's just adapted into the new meta, so it's whatever.
Our efficient RC is kind of just like dead right now. Like it's Lavas is really fun, but I don't know. It's just the skill is in such a weird place for EHP for mains. That's I don't know.
It really has been since 2018. Like I don't think anyone really agreed on a rate since then.
Nope.
Sheesh.
Yeah, people are like saying down to duo now in Temple Discord sometimes. Because no one is doing 0-4 anymore except Sunkra did it recently. I don't know. It's the skill is kind of like weird.
It is.
But I really enjoyed doing learning 0+4 lavas on the speedrun account. It was one of the most enjoyable methods.
Yeah, but, I would actually agree with that. I never did lavas. Like I only done ZMI, so like doing lavas was just like you. Like it was completely new to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, seeing the progress, hitting those 300k hour.
Yeah,
like,
you were insane at RC, man.
I know. I couldn't believe it. I think Zunker really helped a lot. Like with him also going hard, it really pushed both of us to just keep going, keep going.
Yeah, that was nice to see.
It's got to be satisfying because like RC drops traditionally are just so slow, and then when you're just stacking them up, getting huge hours, it's got to feel great. All right, here.
Still, one more thing about RC. Duo lavas with the old pouch was also like that's probably my favorite method of all time.
Yeah,
It is like it's a little bit more effort, but the XP rates aren't like that insane. You get like 95k an hour with one alt if you trade once per lap, but it just like makes it a lot more interesting because I don't think solo lavas is actually that fun to do. It's pretty boring after like an hour or two. So that like made it a lot more interesting for me, and I pretty much like did everything with Dolo or Duo for my 200 mil.
I remember trying Dolo lavas myself before I tried ZMI back in like 2018, and I was so bad at it. I mean, I still got better rates than Zaya,
It's
but like
difficult. It's
it
difficult to
is,
do.
yeah, it really is. I was like, but I mean, I don't remember. I mean, I was using Earth Talisman as well because no magic imbue because
Ooh.
level 3. So
That's
I mean,
miserable.
God.
probably didn't help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another topic is from Rem Cave asking, what are the most unique skilling metas you have encountered?
You mean overall or
I guess
on the
so.
speedrun?
Just whatever you guys consider. I guess maybe overall.
Let me think about this one. You go first, HW.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna say runecrafting, like I said. I mean, there was so much change going on for me for that skill when I was doing 200 mil. Like, I did Zaya for like 60 mil XP, and then I did like ZMI with 3 runners instead of 4 for like 120k an hour, and then I decided, screw it, let's add another ult. And I mean, it just kept changing for me. I had a blast with it. Probably easily one of my favorite skills. For the speedrun account though, I know like learning Sepulcher, I think I already talked about. I had a lot of fun learning that. Like generally like my favorite skilling content, I think, in terms of like um what's the word I'm looking for? Skill gap, like between like someone that's really good at it or someone that's good at it. That was a lot of fun. And I mean 2.5 tick fishing. I don't know what was wrong with me, but when I did that, I had so much trouble. I know Max
Dude, that
told me
shit's
like
slap, man.
yeah, I know you said like you were good at it. I was like, dude, I couldn't get it down. I ended up just paying a runner. I was like, I can't trade
Yeah.
my ult. Like there's just too much going on. And I mean, you only do it for like 20 hours too, so like there wasn't that much time to learn it.
Was it only 20
But
hours?
yeah, it was like 96 to 99. Well, you gotta remember I messed up early fishing as well. Whoops. I just lost 8 hours. But
Yep.
yeah, so I only had like 15, 20 hours of that. That was easily like the hardest thing. Or at least one of the hardest things on that account.
What? Man, I had it down in like 30 minutes on practicing on an alt, and
Yeah,
then I just like ran with my own alt. I ran the Karam ones as well at the same time, and I got like pretty decent rates.
yeah, that
I don't
was
know.
yeah, I don't know what happened with me there, but
That was
everything
fun.
else I think like I don't think I'm missing any other methods. What do you think?
Well, I'm a big fan of Slayer. You have no, at least no efficient Slayer experience. Normal Slayer, I don't think.
Right. No, I don't. I
Yeah,
remember on my ult with 99 Slayer, I just AFK cannoned everything.
yeah. Well, like seeing the progression on Slayer is also really interesting to me. Like first we like cannoned everything like efficient, like 40k an hour or something. And at some point, like the catacombs came out, and then everything was just barrage. But now recently, everything, well, not many people do this, but it's actually efficient if you don't like take zero time night zone in consideration to bulwark and crystal halberd most of your tasks with like spec transfer runners. And that is something it's just so cool to see like the bulwark like go off at necrals or something. You see like all the hit splats, and I don't know. It's very cool like change of meta to see that. But
I
again, no one really does it because it just melees are free in Hyper Zone. You can just like do them while you sleep for 20 minutes
Yep.
every day. So yeah, I
So
don't know.
unless you're doing a speedrun account, it's like a lot of people are just like, whatever.
yeah, I agree
Not
actually.
even well, speedrun like needs logout slayer, but like
Oh, that's true. You can't
temple,
even do like
yeah,
traditional. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The
That's a good
temple
point.
assumes no zero time stuff. Like temple is just like the maximum rates for like the most like efficient. It assumes a count from like start to 200 mil all and all the efficient metas without any zero time. That is how like EHP works. So that is like the meta for Slayer now to finish all your combats while like slaying efficiently with the bulwark and the crystal halberd. But it's also fun to do like the bulwark tasks. I think it's pretty fun.
It
But
looks fun.
I'm
I
pretty alone in that though. Everyone hates me for changing EHP.
It looks fun. Like I said, like I started my level 3 like not wanting to do Slayer because I thought the Cannon Slayer was kind of lame, but like Bulwark and Crystal Harbor Slayer looks like a lot more fun, a lot engaging, like fair rates too.
Yeah. I
I
mean
gotta agree
barraging
with
is
you
also
there.
fun. Like just
Yeah,
barraging next with an alt.
Yeah, true.
So, this is kind of relating to it. Dayton asks, which skill was the hardest to maintain high XP per hour rates? It looks like the fishing one might have been for JCW. Is that correct?
Yeah, that 20 hours of fishing.
What was the most difficult for you, Hebox?
Well, I didn't do well. I was pretty good at RC, but I didn't hire the best runners all the time because I just wanted to get the skill over with. So I kind of struggled sometimes with maintaining decent. Well, I got decent rates, but not like the high end rates all the time. I probably averaged like 275 to 280, and my best hour was like 286, I think, 287.
I think you got high end for non-99 runecrafting runners. You just didn't realize how big of a difference
Yeah,
it was.
I hired like one or two with the 99 cape, and
Yeah, it
the
just
others
ruined
didn't. Yeah,
everything.
yeah. I didn't think it was that like big of an issue, but it turned
I
out it
didn't either
was.
until I saw the experience I was getting, and I was like, what the fuck?
But is there anything else? One of the skills that was kind of annoying. Well, sepulcher is also like really hard to get like the really high end rates, as you mentioned earlier. Like the difference between someone who's good at it and someone who's insane at the content.
I remember like practicing it on my alt and like after I thought I got it down, I did like 30 minutes. I was getting like 90k an hour. I'm like, what am I
Oof.
doing? It
Yeah.
wasn't until after I had all the practice on the speedrun account from only doing like 4 1 to 3 and 1 to 4 where I was able to
Hmm.
like get good rates. I'm like, oh, okay, this actually isn't that bad.
Yeah.
But that shit was really fun though.
Yeah. Some people are just like incredible at sepulcher. They get like 107k an hour or something, and we
Holy
just
shit.
like get. Yeah, I don't know how they
I
what those
I
people eat
know
for breakfast, but
I kept trying to get 1 hour I would do that. I just couldn't get it. I'm like, I don't know what these
yeah.
guys are doing.
My best hour was like 104, I think, on the speed run.
I think same. I think I had a 105 that like I did like
All
one
right,
hour
man.
exactly at
Oh.
105. No, I think I did like 1 hour at 105, and then like my PC crashed or something, and then I couldn't
Yeah,
continue it. So I was like,
excuses, man.
whatever.
Come on.
And
I
then
also had a
no, it's
106, but it crashed. No, I'm kidding.
You didn't
no.
record it?
No, for what it's worth, I did have a screenshot of it. I did take the
Okay.
screenshot. I remember
Okay.
flexing that. But then I was like, this could be easy to repeat, and I was like 93 agility, and then like the next 30 hours of sepulcher, I couldn't repeat it. I'm like, I don't know what I did.
You never got the 202, right? For floor 5, like the tick perfect floor 5?
No, I think I got like 3 or 4 205s. Like I got the flame
Hmm.
skip, and then I would have choke at the end. I would be too nervous to run
Oh,
through.
you didn't get the second flame scope?
Yes, the first one
Yeah.
I was getting down like pretty easily, and then the second one I just didn't have it like it in me to risk it. I was like, this is too scary. I don't
Uh,
want to do it.
I would say the hardest part is getting the first one, actually. Like, getting in time for the first one. Not executing it, but you have to
I
get
feel like
really lucky on the teleports on the previous part to get
Yep.
there in time.
yeah, I think I got that down a lot near the end. Like the first blue, if I remember correctly, it's been so long. Like the first blue, I think I was consistently hitting that like on as soon as you walk down on 4-5, if I remember correctly.
No, I mean, yeah, that one is pretty easy, I think. You mean like
Yeah,
on the
like
top
hitting
floor?
that, but like once you hit that, oh, you're talking about the top floor. No, I'm not talking about
No,
the top floor. You
you
jump
talk about.
down,
Oh,
and
okay, okay.
then
Now,
the
yeah, we're
first blue
talking about
after
the same
that. I
thing.
feel like I was consistently hitting that, and then once I was getting the first flame skip probably
Okay,
like 25% of the time, which isn't that bad, I think.
yeah, that's decent.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a 202, Seder?
Um, uh, on floor 5.
Yeah, 4-5.
Problem is I've never actually ran speedrun because I always
Oh,
loot, and
loot, of
it
course.
sucks
Yeah.
because I actually really want that engagement. I want to like push myself for better times, but I just can't get it because there's no
Yeah.
separate like. I almost wish there was a separate timer like high scores for looting. Yeah, I know that sounds like
Okay.
unfeasible almost, but like I've never been able
Oh,
to enjoy the speedrun aspect of
yeah.
Sepulchre. Unfortunately, I think I'd
Yeah,
be pretty good at it too if I
I
actually
was
like
thinking
pushed.
about that on my Iron Man. Like, I can't wait to go back to Sepulcher. At the same time, it won't be anywhere near the same because you have to loot like everything.
Dude,
Yeah, but
the
looting is a lot like stress-free, man. It's pretty chill. I did some looting on my
yeah.
group Ironman there. It's
Oh,
you,
really?
you don't worry like about the
That's good
time
to
at
hear.
all. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty chill.
I mean, were
It's
you doing like multi-skilling and shit with it though?
No,
That's gonna
but
be something that's gonna be fun.
I'm probably just gonna be fletching and alking while
I think I have a lot
doing
of other
sep.
stuff to do, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I just wish the looting was faster paced. It just feels I don't know, it slows things down significantly. I almost just wish like instead of waiting 4 ticks for your guy to like do the animation of picking the lock, like just open it instantaneously and then move on.
How dumb is it that you can fail at 99?
Dude, you could fail twice in a row at 99. It's just like, what is going on? Get me out of here. Yeah, it's bad.
It's really bad.
So if it wasn't for that, I truly actually think I'd enjoy Sepulchre even more, because when I watch people that are just doing it for XP, it looks so much more fun. You just zoom in. You know, it doesn't matter about the loot. You don't need to bank as much. You don't need to bring the ash and the planks and all that shit. You just run. It seems more like free flowing.
Yeah, so. It's still like, at least I've done
more
quite
stressful,
a bit of Sepulchre, but yeah, I kind of get angry when not angry, but I get very irritated when I make a mistake.
That's true.
When I'm like really good at it already. When I was learning it, it was really fun and I didn't really mind making mistakes, but I don't know, it's pretty frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, it can be pretty bad.
And if someone like crashes you on your world and the floor gets restarted, ooh.
See, that is why, like, I am not super into like we need instances, and that's simply because I've done all my Sepulchre stress free. But as soon as you are actually pushing for hard times, you need the instances, or else you're actually getting angry at people for just being on your world.
Yep.
So that's a problem. What are your guys' thoughts on a potential floor 6 in the future?
Ooh, I would like to see that.
Yeah, I actually have faith that they would do a really good job with that, given how far 1 to 5 are. So I would be down for that.
Now, what if it was like this? Floor 6, it's a risk it kind of situation where you can go to floor 6. You could bump your XP up by 10% per hour, but you have the potential of, if you don't make it in time, there's an actual timer that's very hard to make, but you can make it successfully, consistently if you're good enough. But if you don't make it, you actually lose XP. Like, you just wouldn't get anything for it. Like,
or if you get hit, you get like sent back to the lobby or something.
Yeah, or something like that. What do you guys think? Like the more high risk, high reward.
But that would be hella frustrating, man.
Oh yeah, but it would have to be instance. Have to. You could not go in there and have it fucked up by another player.
Just camp there and just wreck people.
I'm sure whatever company wants me to buy a new monitor would enjoy that. But I mean, it sounds really fun, honestly. I think it would be. You would get to a point where I think you would play it safe and guarantee it like 90% of the time. Yeah.
Unless you're really good pushing that XP to even higher.
What would the traps even look like?
It would honestly, it would just have to be like the same situation sort of, but more going on. So like, you know, the very final stretch of Sepulchre, imagine that with
I mean, everything is already in there.
Every tile is a blue and yellow for the final lap. There we go.
The yellows are just so annoying.
Oh man,
dude, yellow when there's a double yellow, when it's like actually unavoidable. Now, okay, you can actually just purposefully lose ticks to avoid yellows. Like you can, but it takes gigabrain and a lot of patience and. You know, so I don't even know if it would be worth the tick loss. I almost feel like it would always be worth just pushing it and then just here and there losing it. I feel like that would actually save you more time.
I think so too. Just take the L like 23% of the time or something.
But like, Jesus Christ, those double yellows piss me off so much. Yeah. And the biggest problem with Sepulchre, in my personal opinion, is that you can be under a tile and it can spawn underneath you without you having anything to do. Like that is the thing that pisses me off the most out of anything.
I agree fully.
If you could just wait one more tick, you could plan your blues way nicer, and it'd be nice.
Yeah, because also like getting teleported forward, like when you don't expect it,
it's hella annoying.
Like quite often.
Yeah, and you have to make that perfect perpendicular to the side to dot. Like, oh my god, like why? It's tilting, but still fun. Great content. I actually really enjoy Sepulchre. I'm glad it came out. Okay, DK Ho asks, can you guys ever see normies casually doing post 99 XP like in RS3? And also he asks, do you think new skills will make post 99 skilling more active long term or no effect? And before you guys answer, just for those listening, I think he's asking this simply because there really isn't that high competition that there used to be with the top page unfilled.
Yeah, skilling is dead, man.
Exactly.
It's not a good look on like the current top for skilling. But I do think it is possible to get post 99 skilling more active, but you have to introduce 120 skills to do that and have like actual content there. Otherwise, no one is gonna do it, and new skills won't have an effect on it if there's no 120.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much same. If they release 120, I mean, I think they could just do 120 completely virtual. I'm sure a good portion of the community would be like, "Oh, there's a cape, I gotta get it." And I mean,
Yeah.
if they have a spare 800 mil from PVM, I mean, why not just spend it on fletching and spend 10 hours fletching darts and get it? You know what I mean?
What
So,
is
I mean,
120 actually? How much XP is that?
104.27 mil.
Okay. I'll make it a collection slot, and then we have a deal.
Yeah,
Every
if that
skill.
happened, every skill, I promise you, every skill would be a minimum of 2 times faster within a year.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, I don't see them coming out with 120 capes. I think Comp Cape would come out before that, and that I don't see coming out either. So
Yeah, really?
You don't see a
yeah,
comp cape coming out.
I would
I don't
actually. Oh,
I don't
man.
think so.
I would actually like to see 120s like before more than one skill, like one new skill.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in that.
No, I mean 120s would be interesting. I mean, I think I would have some fun with the economy because I know things will go crazy. Like people like there will just be an influx of like rich people that like PVM all
Mhm.
the time where they're just like I can just quickly spend money and I'll get a 120 cape in like a short period of time. Like all the Bibles like prayer where I could imagine easily just doubling in price.
Dude, they already like double in price when there's like a quest that requires 70
Yeah,
prayer or
exactly.
something.
So like imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a bit too much. Maybe we don't do the Bibles yet for 120s. Just like the Gatherers and Slayer or something.
Slayer I
But
could see happening
yeah.
because everyone's loves
And
Slayer.
and it's pretty filled already. Like if you want to add a new Slayer monster, you almost have to like unlock like 2 monsters at the same time.
Right.
What are you guys' thoughts on the new prayer book that was announced, Ruinous Powers, and that's in current beta testing?
Yeah, I listened to your ramble. I think this morning,
Hmm.
but I fully agree with you that I think if you bring that in game and have like other like buffs coming along like over this year, the game is gonna like feel completely alien and could like die a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of my worry. I feel like a lot of the counterpoints in the comment section, at least of my ramble, was just people getting really angry that I haven't given it a fair chance. But it's not really about the fair chance. It's just the idea of like this prayer book that we've used for 20 plus years is now pretty much going to become obsolete. Now I know it's not fully obsolete, but you're going to have to adapt to the new meta of a better
Yeah.
prayer book.
Yep.
JCW, have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been paying attention to the prayer book. I read the first time it was introduced, I was reading it and I was just kind of like surprised at everything they were bringing in. I'm like, oh, this feels like they're literally like I remember them bringing out the new prayer book in Earth 3 and it was just like crystallized and like every gather skill was like doubling in XP an hour. I know they got rid of skilling prayers, but now that's just combat prayers. I mean, I haven't really been paying attention, but based off of what I read, um, of other people like complaining about it, I was surprised. It seems like a lot of people are actually very against it. I wouldn't be surprised if they just fully scrap the idea at this point. I think. I personally don't know what's the best move is because, like I said, I haven't really been reading up on it. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they're just straight bringing in prayers because they want to buff everything, then I mean, probably not the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I really liked your idea, Sader, for like the add 4 prayers from the 4 different bosses. That
Yeah,
was
I feel like
quite
that's
good.
appropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on like what those 4 prayers would be. I think the community could decide. But yeah, just the idea of almost never being on the standard prayer book again sounds just depressing and doesn't feel
yep.
old school. And I'm one of those players that is a little bit more progressive, I'd say, than the average like purist. I'm actually okay with change in the game generally, but not this big of a change where like fundamentally the prayer book is just gone.
Yeah, and it's gonna affect like everything. All current PVM is gonna be, well, not easy, but if you know what to do, it's gonna be easy. Like there's some like risk to it with the new prayer book, but yeah, and also like the skilling prayers, man. Imagine if they would got into the game, and then you add like, let's say if taming was the skill that was gonna like be worked on, like all the pets would buff skilling even more. Like, what were they thinking if you like stack all those things up? Or same with shamanism. Like everyone just wanted like buffs to all the weapons. So they came out with an example like, yeah, you can upgrade your Bandos plate body to do, or Bandos chest plate to do something else. Like, and
it's scary.
Stack that with the prayers and like
it's not the
insane.
same game. It's not the same game anymore at that point. Like you can incrementally add things like we have done for the past 10 years of the game, where the game still feels old school. Like nothing's crazy. Obviously, we do have super powerful weapons, but it's felt like at a decent enough pace. This year, if they came out with an entirely new prayer book, that's scary.
Yeah, and what I just mentioned, like
the new
skills, and like sailing is probably the safest.
That's the surprising thing.
Skill.
It like actually feels the safest, even though it feels like the most like adventurous, most like out there kind of in a way.
Yeah, but it will be pretty much on its own, hopefully.
Exactly.
Like it's not going to interact directly with like a lot of skills. Sure, there will be some new items probably coming from sailing that could affect other content in the game, but shamanism would like affect everything with all the enchantment things that they proposed.
Mm-hmm. So I want to ask you guys a little bit about your IRL situations. Just simply the fact that you guys do have successful growing YouTube channels. How does that, I guess, affect your real life now that you can actually kind of do, I'd imagine, RuneScape full time? Has that changed your life goals a little bit? And what does your life look like now with this in the picture? And I don't know, your like plans, I guess.
You can go first, JCW.
Yeah, what's it called? I'm still working full time on the side. I remember when Max decided to go full time, he released a video saying he's been back and forth on it for like months, and I mean I'm kind of in the same scenario now. So not much has changed yet, besides there's like that mental thing in the back of my head being like, what do I do? What do I do? Like it's not an easy decision. I have a pretty comfortable job IRL at the moment. So I mean I'm still kind of like deciding what to do, what should I do, what would be the best move. So for me personally, not much has changed.
Okay.
I think that's about it, yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Hebox?
Question for JCW. Like, what are you leaning like towards now? What's your gut say?
I would love to do it full time. It's just a matter of, I mean, I bought a house last October.
You have a lot more IRL going on than I have.
Yeah, exactly. Like I bought a house like October. I mean, I have my savings, but I mean, it's just everything's a risk at this point where I am IRL. Like if I start going YouTube full time, there's still a risk of it not working out. And even if I just continue working full time, that's still like technically a risk in the sense of like I love what I do in terms of like RuneScape. So I mean, there's no easy answer. It's something that's been back and forth for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot more difficult for you, I think, because I just started like going back to school again. I was like, I don't know, been going to school for like 3 months or something. It was all right, but I mean, I hate school. I always have. So I really wanted to like stop that because I only went back to school because I didn't really know what to do. Like I was kind of trying to fit in with the rest, basically. Just like I guess I go to school again, and I mean it was all right, but yeah, again I had the opportunity to like do something I really love doing, so I made that decision then, and I dropped out and started going full time, and I also live still at home, so it's like a lot less risky for me to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just like chilling, man. I'm living the life right now.
That's so cool to see, man. It's really
Yeah,
cool. It's cool to see like passion turn into something that is like sustainable.
yeah.
Now
But I think
there is still risk, obviously, with any sort of.
yeah, of course, but I don't really see this as like a long-term thing, though. I'm not sure how you
Mm.
guys are in this. What
So
are your
well, I'll just tell you mine. I mean, so I've been, I guess, full-time content creator for like 4.5 years upcoming. Now, initially, it wasn't really full-time money,
Yeah, yeah,
but I still
I know
went.
your story.
Yeah, I went balls to the walls, just
Yeah,
do it. But
respect, man.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks. I don't think everybody agrees with that take of respect, but it worked out. And obviously, there's still like, you know, years ahead that I look forward to. But when I do think of my life, like I'm with you, Hebox, like school, just it didn't feel like I was meant for school almost. Like I know
Same.
that sounds weird, but it's like
No,
yeah,
I agree. I'm the
No, I
same.
know what you mean. Like school's not for everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so getting to do this and getting to like grow something of my own has just been like the most fulfilling thing, and I want to keep it going. So when you say, you know, you don't see this as a long-term thing, what do you mean by that? Do you mean like would you get like bored, or would you just like
Yeah.
not like lose
I
interest and move on to something else?
I get pretty bored for like things that like focus on, except for like actually grinding skilling. That was something like, how do I say this? Like my attention span is not that good for things I'm like have to put in effort for sometimes.
Hmm.
I've switched studies like 3 times because I simply just like got bored of it. Like I was in my first year, I was like, this just isn't it. And it's the same with a lot of things like IRL for me. Except for working out, I still like go to the gym for like years on end. But yeah, I do see myself like finding something else that piques my interest and go do that for like a couple of years. And then I'm just probably gonna hop around for like forever, just doing things that I enjoy at that time and just don't worry about what's coming in the future.
Mm.
That's probably how I see. Well, I'm like worrying about not really worrying, but I'm like thinking about the future, and I probably see it like that. Like at some point, it's gonna be or RuneScape just dies because JKX makes a stupid like update, and we don't have a job anymore. And to begin with, like YouTube or streaming for RS isn't like the best like game to like do it with
Yeah.
because the player base isn't that huge, and yeah.
Yeah,
So I
it's
do
okay.
like a couple years probably I can still like do this, but then I might just like lose interest and like move on.
Okay. Interesting. Um, okay, here's kind of relating to what you had just said about like gym and stuff. Greg here is asking, does JCW go to the gym for IRL gains? If so, when are you guys
Oh, boy.
speed running the gym gains?
I do not work out IRL. Sorry to disappoint. I never
Any
really actually
plans?
gave it a try. No, I don't really have plans to do it. I mean, I literally like I'm like the 9 to 5 office grind, and then I get home and it's like, do I stream? Do I edit? What do I do? There's just I don't see any time
Mm.
for it. So I'm
Hmm.
like, whatever.
Yeah, you also have to like sleep extra.
Yeah, I don't. I hate literally
I
like
hate
even after
sleeping.
200 mil all, I don't hate sleep, but like I get this point where like this mental thing where like when I'm sleeping like 8 hours a night for like 2 weeks straight, I'm just like, oh man, I'm like being unproductive. Like it doesn't matter what I'm doing at the time, like
Yup.
in my free time, it's like I'm sleeping too much. Like I need to like sleep like a normal like 6 7 hours absolute max, and it's like, what
Yeah.
should I work on? What should I work on? So yeah.
Yeah, fitness is definitely a big time commitment too. Not like a huge time commitment, but there's if you're trying to like grind and like
I
do
mean, a
all these
couple
other
hours a
things, it's
day. Yeah, I mean, a couple hours a day. Plus, I mean, it's dieting as well. Like you have to be very strict on what you're eating as well.
yeah,
Mm,
like you
not
and
really. Like you
Well, I
can get
mean,
away with like eating
uh,
somewhat normal and like cheating a little bit, but
yeah, as a
like,
fellow American who lives 2 minutes away from every fast food chain, I tend to disagree.
It's just like change. It's just like habit changes. Like for me, I didn't work out for like 3 years when I started streaming. I had worked out in college and stuff, so I had like a little bit of a frame to work off of when I finally get back into it. But it really is just like changing habits.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I don't do anything necessarily particular, but I am also not dedicating to just like sleeping 6 hours a night, and that's kind of how my mental works. Like I've always been a big sleeper. I sleep for like nine hours a night usually.
Man, what?
Yeah, I'm a 9-hour sleeper.
Oh
Holy.
man, I can't imagine.
Oh, it's so good. But yeah, I
It definitely
feel
does
that.
feel refreshing.
Yeah. And to be honest, it's really helped with like my at least beginner gains, getting back into like building muscle and stuff. Like getting all that sleep is just amazing.
Sleep is important, yeah, but I don't like it. I like to sleep. Well, especially more recently, I go to the gym at like 6 a.m. So I go to bed at like 11 and I wake up at like, I don't know, 5, like half 6 is what I try to aim for. So yeah, I definitely sleep not enough for like the amount of hours I train a week, but I don't know, I CBA, I want to make gains. And also like on my Ultimate Ironman.
Yeah. And I imagine if a new skill comes out, that might put a little bit of a negative impact on like gains, you think? Or are you just willing to sacrifice the time to like work out and train? I guess when you pushing for a single digit rank, I think you'd almost have to sacrifice some gym gains.
I mean, maybe go like 1 times less a week if needed, but I'm still gonna go like pretty like normal, but I'm just gonna
I really
do
have
like
no clue.
14 hours a day, I think, and then just go to the gym every other day and just sleep like 6. That should work.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see if 14 hours a day is like enough for like the top 10 for like all 200 million dollars. I honestly have no clue how it's gonna go.
Yeah, me neither. Like it could be that it's gonna be completely free because nobody cares, but it could also be like super competitive, and then I just get like rank 19 again, which is
Yeah.
all right. I mean, like if
I mean,
people
if you
are
get
gonna go
ranked
insane,
19, if you get ranked 19 playing 14 hours a day, I would be shocked. I don't think that's gonna happen. Like I would be
yeah,
surprised if 19 other people care enough to do
yeah,
that
that
much when there's
I'm
only
kind
like
of
100
leaning
people.
towards that as well. That it's
Yeah.
gonna be pretty easy to get like top page finish, and if you put in a little bit more effort, and I have the time, hopefully, still, that I can get a top 10 rank. Yeah.
So regarding high scores, what do you guys think about having like a retro high scores of like the classic, like Lynx Titan still rank 1? Do you guys care about that? Do you think it should just be completely scrapped and just have it?
I think completely scrap it. What? I mean, yeah. I mean,
I want to hear Hebox's take, but let's hear JCW's first. What do you think?
I mean, RS3. I remember Suomi being rank 1. New skill comes out, change happens. I don't think, especially like think like 2, 3, 4 skills down the road. We already have like a million high scores. We don't need another like 3, 4 when new skills come out, in my opinion. I mean, I personally was a big fan of Lynx Titan. Very good rank 1, but I don't think he should keep it in like a separate high scores. I think it's time to move on finally.
All right.
What do you think, Hebox?
I don't think it's that much effort to have like a picture or like a archive like top 25 on somewhere on the website. I don't think that's like that.
Okay, so it would just be top 25. It wouldn't be like a screen capture of all 2 million ranks of like, oh, this is exactly when it ended. And
maybe top 100, nothing more.
Okay. So
I would settle for just top page.
But then okay, that's fair.
Rip rank 26.
Who's rank 26? Karibola, I think.
Yeah, I just checked. Karibola, yep.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so I think that would actually be appropriate, is not just to have an entirely new page of like, oh, this is what the high scores used to look like, but just have a screenshot of maybe top 100.
Yeah.
I don't think moving on is like the worst thing to happen. Like, people.
I don't think so either, but I'm also not up there, so I can't like. I have to be at least somewhat sympathetic for those that genuinely worked for something that they cared about. Like, people do care about like the ranks, and for those that just say, oh, I don't care about the rank, so fuck it, I don't want to see it like that. Well, why does it matter for you anyway?
I would say JKs could pay a little respect to their most dedicated players in the form of like saving the top 100 or something.
I mean, as well though, Box, like wouldn't most of the top 100 be somewhat the same, especially if at the time like all the same top 100 people, like there's only 100 people with 4.6 at the time. I mean, it'll be somewhat the same in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I would still like to see
Meanwhile,
it somewhere saved. Well, I'm just gonna make a screenshot myself and then just like save it on my PC. But,
Yeah.
I know. Good old fucking RS3. I went from I was ranked 53 to like 5.4, and then when the new skill came out, I did it like a year later. I was like ranked 1.3K. I'm like, oh shit, my rank.
What?
Yeah, there's over 1,000 people with Twitter ball in that game now.
What the hell?
I got it way late. I was like, oh, there goes my rank.
That's insane.
Okay, now here's another question. When a new skill comes out, most likely sailing, that I'm going to give you guys 3 options that I saw on Reddit. Would you guys like a grace period? This is choice number 1. Grace period for your max cape. Would you want a trimmed cape for those any additional skill that comes out beyond the original 23? It would just be a trim max cape, so you can keep your original max cape, and then when you get the full max cape, it would just be trimmed. Or do you guys just want it to day 1, everyone can't use their max cape until you get 99?
Option 3.
I think grace period would be the most simple way. Like the only reason I'm saying that is because that's how they did in Earth 3, and I remember like I think 6-month grace period is pretty fair. I think first of all, trim max cape I think is a horrible idea. Like what are you gonna do when the 3rd skill comes, or like why are you separating that from the first 23 skills? It's kind of like I said earlier,
that's a good point.
Move on. So in my opinion, that's like easily the worst option. I think, I mean, if they were to just get rid of it day 1, I don't think that would be the worst thing ever. But I mean, given how, I mean, I don't even have a max cape on JCW, so I don't care what happens. But I think grace period would be appropriate. And if they chose not to, as long as they don't do trim, I think I'm okay with it. I think trim would generally be bad and look horrible, though.
I think I agree with that. Yeah, the trim would be weird. I'm okay with a grace period. I'm okay with either just scrapping it entirely or a grace period. The reason I'm okay with a grace period is because there are players that simply just achieve their max cape, don't play much, but they achieve their goal, and now, oh crap, I can't even use my max cape, back to grind out a skill, but I work and I have kids and I have all this stuff. It's like, I can understand that. I can be sympathetic toward people that just don't even want to deal with sailing. They just want to keep it. But at the same time, I think if for those players that see it that way, just see it as like nobody in the entire community will have access to a max cape. And I think that almost is kind of like a cool experience to have somewhat. Just initially everyone logs in. Everyone's at a huge disadvantage if you've gotten used to a max cape. And it's just kind of like this new... I don't know. I think it's actually the best option is to just scrap the max capes, but I still want to be sympathetic for those that are like really against it and they want the grace period.
It does sound pretty cool that, like, you're right. I didn't think about that. Like, actually seeing a max cape like the first 2 weeks of sailing or however long it takes before 40,000 people have it again, or however many, whatever the number is. You're right. That would be cool. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, it's not like an individual thing. It's like the entire community's together in this, like, hey, we've all lost our max cape. Let's get grinding.
Yep. We don't have to cater to like the players you mentioned like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, buddy, you work and have kids, but
sit.
Yeah, sit. I'm just gonna be elitist here and just sit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, losing it for 6 months, it's not like it's the biggest part of your identity. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, you'll get it back eventually. Just train the skill.
And it's not going to be like a skill like 2K an hour. It's going to be pretty... It's going to be... And if you've already had a max cape, you know how to grind. So it's not like you're struggling.
Well...
Hopefully.
Some people paid services for their max capes.
Well, that's not their max cape. They have no room to talk or complain either.
Yeah.
And in fact, they're probably the least people to complain because they're going to just pay for a service for 99 sailing.
Yep.
Well, I would say, man, you're right. Probably.
No, they 100% will.
Yeah.
Services for sailing. Jesus Christ. Okay. I think sailing is going to be a ton of fun. I hope. I just hope it's engaging and fun. And plus, think about this. When the skill actually drops, everybody is going to be out on the sea. Like everybody.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be. I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be cool. Okay. Let's see. Girolamo asks, who are your inspirations and all-time favorite players? Thinking of high scores legacies like Yogo-san, Zezima, Suomi, Old Knight, Tello Marquez, etc. I haven't heard of Yogo-san or Tello Marquez, but I've heard of the other three.
Yeah, you go first. I don't really know those people except for Zezima.
I don't like Zezima. I don't know why everyone idolizes him. Maybe it's because I didn't play back in like 2006.
That's got to be it.
No hate to the guy, but I mean, I personally think there was a lot more efficient players back then.
Oh, I mean, yeah, 100%. It wasn't about. It was just about like the childhood of like millions of children just being like, "Oh my god, this guy's amazing," and then you don't even know who he is, but you just hear the name, and you're like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the guy. I've done some Barbarian Assault in RS3 with him, and I mean, pleasant interaction, like nothing wrong with it. I just don't understand why he's so hyped. When I came back I quit RS when EOC was released, and I came back in 2014. At the time, if I remember correctly, Forsberg was just finishing 200 mil on RS3, and I remember I thought that was like so cool. He was like really young at the time. He was like 16 or 17, and I thought it was so cool. And I mean, I was like this little 14-year-old fucking. I was like, it would be so cool to get 200 mil on RS3, like go for like the youngest or whatever. So I saw him finish up 200 mil, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for 200 mil on RS3. I count that as a very big inspiration. Probably my main one. And I mean, other than that, I mean, I have a lot of respect for a couple of skillers on the top page at the moment. Like I spoke a lot to like viewer throughout my time for Tuner Malal, very good player in my opinion. A couple others, but overall, I would say the number one inspiration was probably Lynx because, like I said, I mean, I was just coming back to the game. I thought it was so cool he was finishing 200 Malal, and then he just immediately jumped into old school. So
yeah, Animal.
Yeah,
Lynx Titan. Yeah.
So what about you, Hebox? All-time favorite inspirations?
Acid Soul. That's probably my number one.
Amen.
Yeah. And I mean, also some players like on the current top page. Players like Fior, Dead Wilson, Dumbfounded, also like huge inspirations back then. They were always like very like grinding the skills when I was like a noob with I don't know 20 mil base or something. So yeah, pretty much just like everyone who was really up there when I started skilling was just like an inspiration for me basically. But main one, Acid Soul, and well, Automatic, of course. Little shout out for Automatic.
Yeah. God, dude. Okay, let me ask you guys this as well. What was the best year of OSRS? What was your favorite year?
2020.
Okay.
Mine is 2018 easily because rune crafting.
2018 was a fantastic year. I do gotta say, like that felt like the game was really blossoming. Just like
what was?
I think that's the year mobile came out as well. Mobile came out in 2018, I think.
2018 was when Theater of Blood came out, and I think it was like more personal for me. Like that was the year. It was like a few days before Theater of Blood came out. I got my Infernal Cape, and I felt like everything was kind of coming together. I felt like I was better at the game. I felt like the community was bigger. I felt like the Twitch scene was booming because of Theater of Blood, and the Inferno had just come out a year prior, and just it felt fun. I don't know. There's something about it, but it still felt like we had the traditional stuff. We were just getting these new weapons like Scythe and Rapier and
seeing the Scythe hold. Seeing the Scythe hold over max cash for as long as it did was something really cool, I thought, as well. I mean, I was poor as hell back then, but I know I wish like the same thing happened with TOA, but Jagex accidentally let everyone with a rune crossbow do it, so that didn't happen. But
so why was 2020 so great for you, Hebox?
Because lockdown.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I played so much during 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
It was definitely the most fun like year like ever, pretty much for me. It was just I don't know, there was something special to it. But I was just looking at my temple to like 2018, what I was doing back then. But I was doing Slayer, which was my first 200 mil. But back then I was still in school full time, I think, so I didn't really enjoy the game as much as I was like full need in 2020. So that is probably why I enjoy 2020 more, because I was just like grinding hard.
I also got to give a shout out to 2017, because 2017 was when I made this account, and I was like, I think the first couple months were a bit rough because I had just gotten banned on a previous account, so it was hard to like get back into a new account. But as soon as like the first couple months had passed, I got really addicted, and it was so much fun. So that was probably the time I enjoyed the game the most. I was just heavily addicted. Yeah, good times.
But I guess 2018 would be like the best year in terms of content. Yeah, I would agree with that. But I enjoyed 2020 the most for like personal gains.
Okay. Vala Rauka, I'm butchering these names probably. Question specifically for Hebox. When is the next Lost in the Flow playlist dropping?
Next week.
Ooh. Hell yeah.
And also the Ultimate Ironman is probably also next week-ish, hopefully.
Very, very
First
cool.
episode.
Very cool. Okay.
I'm expecting like a shit ton of progress in that video.
Well, I'm not sure when where I'm gonna cut it off. Like what one.
If you go until where you're at now, I mean, the video's gonna be like 2 hours long.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Okay. Find My Dog asks, if a hypothetical old school RuneScape existed, the game as it was originally released in 2013, would you try going for a Maxscape speedrun? Also, just to expand on that, what are your guys' ideas of an old school, and do you even want that in the first place?
This one is a difficult one. On the other hand, like on one hand, I want it, like it's gonna be cool, but on the other hand, it's gonna be so boring, man. There's so much like stuff that you don't even know like didn't exist like back then. Like you take so much things for granted currently in the game, and I'm not sure if that's gonna be like the idea of it sounds cool, but the execution might be like very underwhelming.
JCW, have any thoughts? Do you even want an old school, whatever your idea of it is? Everyone has a different idea.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with Max. Like an old school, it sounds like it could be good, but why split the community even more? And like, where would you even draw the line of old school? Because I mean, I personally think old school without GE is like trading in like Varrock. I don't know why that existed for as long as it did before they brought the Grand Exchange in. Like, I feel like that was strictly for nostalgia reasons. And I mean, you can fact check this. I'm not 100% sure I'm saying this right, but I do think the game exploded in terms of growth after the Grand Exchange came out. I might be wrong, but I feel like I vaguely remember looking at that like a while ago. So, I mean, I think the appropriate time would be to bring after the Grand Exchange, but at the same time, it's like, why split the community more? I think it's fine as it is. Maybe after all these prayers, maybe not, but
we have to reset the
I
simulation.
hope, yeah, I really hope they don't reset it, because I mean, old school came out for like a good reason. I mean, EOC was a disaster. Where it is now, I mean, I think it's thriving right now. I don't think there's any reason to bring out an old school.
Yeah. Well, I'll just share my 2 cents. Old school, I'd actually be pretty hyped about, but in my perfect world, and my perfect world is all the quality of life we enjoy with continual quality of life updates, and you can use plugins. And the reason I say you can use plugins is because there's just no way of getting around it. There will be plugins, and so trying to ban it or anything is just cringe. But what I really want is like just the original content in the game that was in 2013. Some things could be changed. Unidentified herbs could be changed to just normal herbs. Things like that. Like there could be little minor tweaks that are just obnoxious. Fix all the bugs. Continually fix the bugs. But content itself would remain unchanged. But there would need to be a dedicated team for bots and cheating and stuff like that. So. Yeah, in this ideal world now, I don't even think this would ever come out. But in my ideal world, if something was like that, I would be all over it. And I would, I think
I'd actually play it?
Yeah, I would. And I'd probably...
Would you play it on the side of your main? Or just ditch the main?
No, I would still play this account, but it would be like a side project, and I'd probably do a lot of clue scrolls on it. There wouldn't be elites; it would just be easy, medium, hard. But
That's shocking.
I think collecting third age and not having a grand exchange and like
interacting
with players, no ironman mode, everyone's a main. I think that would just be really fun for a bit. Who knows?
Yeah, there's definitely for a bit. That's you say that right, because it's gonna be very boring after like that original hype has worn off.
Yeah, it would just be cool to like go back and re-experience, get like your skill capes. There's no max cape, but there's still those skill capes you can get, and everything's about XP. It's back to like the XP gains, and I think
there's like no PVM, like KBD and Mol. That's it.
DKs. Wait, were DKs even out?
Oh, yeah.
DKs on release they were.
Yeah, they were like 2006, I think, or something.
Yeah. KQ, KBD, DKs, Barrows, like that's it. And
no pets. Oh,
yeah, no pets. No rooftop agility.
Ooh. What do we do for edgy?
Dorg? Yeah, Dorg. Man. Like that, just like true OG nostalgia. And obviously, tons of players wouldn't even play it. So I don't think that dividing the community would even be an aspect. It would just be very small, but it would be that really tight knit. Like, okay, we're here, we're just grinding the nostalgia. Let's have some fun. We get to interact with players if you want to trade, and plugins would be there, obviously. And I don't know. I just think it'd be fun.
Yeah, it would definitely be fun, but
it wouldn't last forever. But I think it would be like a mode you like go back to. You get that itch here and there.
I think it would pop for like the first 6 months, and after that, I think it would like you wouldn't have new players joining it. I think it would strictly just be the beginning players, and then as they quit, they drop one by one, and it'll just slowly die with absolutely like zero updates besides like little QLs. Even then,
just quality of life and just keeping the game. What's the word? Keeping integrity. So banning cheaters, banning those things. So like obviously, I don't even think this would ever come out. But if it were to, I'd be all over it. I'd love it.
Okay.
I'd want to get a full third age set on it too. I'd just buy it. I'd just be like that guy that's like, if you ever get a third age, please sell it to me. I want to be a collector.
Nice.
But yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Ariadna. I'll just say Crystal. F2P asks, question for JCW: why did you decide on maining a skiller?
Yeah, it was mostly I couldn't be bothered with the Slayer meta, and I hated questing. I mean, if you want to like way back in like 2009 when like I got my first couple 99s or whatever. I remember grinding agility pretty early on, and I got there in agility at like 50 combat, and it was like so cool. And then I was jealous that like when I saw like some level 3s, I was like, oh man, I wish I was level 3, and I never was. But I mean, it was mostly honestly the questing and the Slayer. I was just like, I can't be bothered. But there was some like I've thought about being a level 3 before, way back. So it's not like I created my account and it was only Slayer, even though it was mostly like Slayer and questing. It has crossed my mind of being a level 3. I did think it was like a cool, I wouldn't really say challenge, but like I did think it was a cool way to like restrict yourself, like only be able to do like certain things. Just like seeing 3 combat and like a skill cape at the time is like so cool. So probably like that.
Okay, question for Hebox: if you were to play a restricted account long term, Ironman or a skiller or anything else, what would it be?
Well, I'm kind of already doing that. That's the ultimate Ironman.
Is that a long? So, do you consider that long term, just like maxing?
Well, I'm not sure like how long this game is gonna go for, but somewhere I'm actually don't want to do this. But somewhere the itch for 200 mil all ultimate Ironman is there. But I don't think I want to do that to myself. But I don't know.
It's open. Somewhere I mean, it's like free, which is not free, but
no, it's not free. There's some like dedicated gamers.
Yeah.
But I think Gipt is like on its way to like finish in like the next 4 years.
Sheesh.
I think
that's insane.
Paperbat's like up there, right? And he quit, I think.
Yeah, he quit. Yeah, but Gibbed is like the rank 1, I think. And you also have Res, but Res has like a weird account build. He has like 10 HP, 99 strength, 50 attack or something. Some weird account. But he might... I'm not sure if he's gonna break the build, but he's also like really high HP for ultimates. And he's also... They both play like 60 hours a week still or something.
Sheesh. Yeah, Gibbed, I remember, was in Olympus, and his account was dirty, and he was playing a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, 200 mil all on a UIM is absolutely ridiculous.
It's not even that much slower than normal iron.
I guess I'm still
really
living
not?
in that like old age of just thinking about like the obviously UIM has had tons of quality of life over the years and tons of new methods and things like that. But I still think back to like 2015 thinking of UIM, just like Jesus Christ. This is insane.
I mean, it's definitely a lot of hours, but it's definitely doable.
Yeah.
If you like commit to it, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's just like a dream, but it's probably not gonna happen ever.
Okay, this is a question for both of you. Which moment on your journeys to the original 200 mil all was the hardest, most mentally draining? Was there a time you wanted to give up, either of you?
For me, I didn't want to give up, but I mean, mining, like I said, it was like one of my last grinds. I was working full time. It was like, I didn't think twice I would ever give up on it, but it was relatively slow comparative to everything else I did. But I mean, being realistic, looking back on it, it was probably more of just the changes IRL that were happening that was probably the more draining part versus actual just mining. Because I mean, I had a pretty consistent schedule for the whole 4 year grind or whatever until like the last like 6, 8 months.
Okay. Well, I didn't really enjoy the game at first. Like the first couple of years, like 2014 to like 2017, I was pretty busy. Well, yeah, I had somewhat a normal life, and I was trying to like play a lot, but I don't know, it didn't work out that well. And I mean, I had a decent rank. I was like rank like top 200 or something, but I saw all these players getting like 200 mils, and I was like so far away still from getting any 200 mils. And yeah, there were times where I was like, I'm just like not gonna get it ever, and just quit. But then yeah, I don't know, it was just my weak mindset back then.
And then when was the change? Like about what year did you like have that shift?
I probably shifted in like 2018, I think. I think I stopped school for the first time then. And yeah, I just wanted more time for myself. So yeah, it's yeah, some people like might find it crazy that I just like stop school to play a video game, but I don't know. I just really wanted to get 200 mils and get 200 mil all, and school was just like not for me. I actually regret, like in the Netherlands here, like you go to high school until you're like 17, 18. I like failed high school, like I had to like redo like 2 years, so I was like 19 or something when I finished high school because I just like didn't care. And I kind of regret going straight away into like uni after that. I should have like taken a year off and just like figure stuff out, but yeah, that is in the past now.
I feel like a lot of people drop school, like especially like at least in America, like jumping into college, they do like 1 year college, and they're like, yeah, this isn't for me. So I personally don't see why everyone like hypes up the, oh, you dropped it for a video game. Like people drop school all the fucking time. I don't get the hype of who cares what it was for. Like other people are dropping it. Like the reason, like school's just not for everyone at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All right. Alejandro asks, was there any method that was higher XP per hour, but just ridiculously expensive to justify? Something along the lines of making demonic thrones. Also, I just want to expand on this question. If money weren't an object, like if you literally just had like, 20 trill to just spend, like, do you think you could significantly speed up you know, like a max grind, or would it not really make that big of a difference compared to what you guys did do?
Me personally, I don't think so. I mean, off the top of my head, I mean, I know people mention like gold sinks for construction and that stuff. I don't know if that makes, I don't know the XP an hour of those. But I mean, other than that, I can't really think of anything else. Like we did push the money into crafting and smithing for crystals, rune crafting with runners. I feel like for the most part, we did go as hard as we could with expenses. Maybe there's something with like gold sinks or something, which would cost like hundreds of bills probably, or like at least tens of thousands of bills,
Yeah.
or tens of bills. But I mean, for the most part, I think expense-wise, we covered just about everything, I would say. I might be missing something.
Well, you could do the boots for rune crafting. I think that is quicker
Yes.
Oh
XP
yeah.
I did forget
than
about that. Dude, even with like infinite money, would it you even still have the supply for that? Like,
Okay,
do you
let's just
think there's
imagine
enough
like
for
infinite
99?
supply too.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Then
I
that
guess
would
you
be
would
better
save
than
money. Yeah.
yeah.
How much faster is that? Like if you were to literally just have unlimited of the prims or whatever it is.
I'm not
I
even
don't
sure what the tick
I don't
perfect
even
rate would
think
be for that.
That'd be
I think
nuts.
you can only make like one.
What's the
It's
XP
not
though
even
for it?
one. It's like 200. I don't even think it's that much faster. Like I remember I had like 200 eternal boots banked. I
Yeah,
remember.
you did it during agility, but it
Yeah,
was
I
kind
did
of
it.
underwhelming.
Yeah,
It looked fucking sick, but it wasn't that good. It was pretty much
but like
just like cooking.
at the same time, I mean, you have to go through like a chat box to confirm it, which is like a minimum of like
Mm.
2 or 3 ticks for a 200 XP drop. And runecrafting's already 270 XP drops
Oh
every 3
yikes.
ticks. So it's really not that
Oh
much
yeah,
faster, I don't
it is
think.
200.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
it,
So
think it's
it
only good for multi-skilling. I think other than multi-skilling, I don't think it was that good, honestly.
well, if it was
yeah.
200 and it takes 3 ticks, then you'd be getting 400k an hour.
Yeah.
Not that much faster than normal runecrafting
Yeah, but you
then.
still have to bank, but yeah, it might like increase like it saved like 5 hours of RC, and like doing demonic thrones or those gold sync things would save you like I don't know 10 hours of construction, since con is already very quick.
Okay.
So like it isn't viable to spend all that money on those two methods. That's the two things you just can't justify for the hours saved.
Is there anything else? Like, is there like some crazy thing where you could just
Maybe
have like pay a bunch of people to do some sort of alting method for you that would speed up something?
I don't know
Just trying to
about that,
think.
but I just thought, I guess charging infernal axes. I don't know how viable that would be, but I think that
Oh
would actually
man.
be a decent chunk faster
Yeah.
than mining.
Yeah, infernal pickaxe.
Pickaxe, yeah, not axes. I don't think
Yeah.
axes would be that much faster, but
Oh
still better than
wait,
nothing.
wait. If you do that, you finish smithing as well. You don't you have
Oh
to
shit.
do crystal just for
You have to do crystals
crafting.
just for crafting.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I guess just making infernal axes for woodcutting as well then.
Yeah, you might as well at that point.
Yeah.
But the thing
Holy
is,
shit.
you can't sell that back.
Well, yeah, I
Holy
think the
shit.
point
Your bank's just loaded with just thousands of these axes.
it's
Oh, you
like
just drop them.
it's
Oh
like
yeah.
200 XP each or
Holy
250, right?
shit.
So 52,000 dragon pickaxes.
Yeah, but I think they stack in the bank if you have two. I don't think they
If they're
I don't
do.
maybe if they're fully
remember.
charged, but maybe not because I don't think they ever say uncharged. Like you know how Barrow's equipment when it's full, it's actually just the Barrow's equipment doesn't even say like 100% or
Yeah,
75.
maybe you do have to
Yeah,
drop them after all then.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think your bank fills up, but I'm not too sure
Whew.
on that.
Yeah. I just checked, like 52,000 of them would be 208 bill, not including the smoldering stone cost. So
208 bill.
throw in the smoldering stone, like pretty much
Dear
double that at
God.
3.5 bill each. 400 bill for 99 mining, not bad.
See, I was just thinking now, obviously this doesn't work because they're untradeable, but like those Lovakang boxes, if you could just like get that, if you could just buy them and
Mm.
just cash them all in, like the amount of mining XP you'd get is just ridiculous.
Yup.
Damn. Yeah, so there really isn't much that you can speed up, unless you were obviously it would make a bigger dent if there was like a 200 mil all speed run, then it would be
Yeah.
significant. But it would be
Mm.
in the trills. I mean, you'd be spending trills
Yeah,
doing those.
it would be in the
Yeah.
tros for
Holy
sure.
shit. Okay. Furry Wall asks, what do you both think of the biggest update in terms of the game getting easier and faster?
Wait,
Um,
An update that's already like have happened?
Yeah. What was the one update that made the game easier and faster? The most easy.
Hard to say if one personal update. I mean, between mobile and not even a Jagex update, Runelite just inventing everything to be close your eyes, quick left click everything. Those easily were like the two easy things in my opinion. As like a personal, like one thing update, I have no clue.
I would say Fossil Island had a pretty big impact on skilling.
That was a good point actually, yeah.
But yeah, I do agree that like all the Runelite plugins and like shift drop, it's also a pretty big one that like changed the entirety of the game. But Fossil Island impacted like a lot of skills. Like DriftNet is just completely nuts. Like how good DriftNet is compared to like Black Chins and fishing.
And 1.5 techniques.
And 1.5 techniques and the fishing, no, not the fishing, the thieving and agility thing underwater was back then also like busted before.
Yeah.
That method was annoying as fuck. I remember trying that. I hated it.
I liked it, but
Stressful.
I really hated the that you have to spam click. Like if you could just like click the box and then you got something from it, and then you have to move to another one, then it would be a lot more fun. Or if like the thing was just automatically pickpocketing the chest instead of just like clicking every 2 ticks.
Do you have any JCW?
No, I mean I would say that's pretty much.
Oh yeah, you were just saying like mobile and
Yeah,
stuff.
like mobile and Runelite, and like it's hard to like put it all into one, but I mean those two things. I mean mobile not really. I think mobile was just kind of like bringing a lot of players to the game to want to make the game more easier.
Well, mobile didn't change like skills, but it devalued 200 mils because you could just AFK on mobile while not even at the PC.
Yep.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people going for 200 mils were already doing that with Chrome Remote.
That's true.
But I mean, mobile is definitely
Yeah,
like probably easily the best thing to happen to the game, like in terms of player base, I think.
probably, yeah.
But I feel like left click became more acceptable on Roomlight as well when mobile came out. I might be misremembering that, but that's how I'm memorizing it. Like mobile, left click everything, and then some guy on Roomlight's like, let's make everything else left click on PC too, because why not? And then yeah, it all just snowballed.
So now I have a question for you guys. What do you think is the I don't know how to like word this. What do you think is the most difficult skill to absolutely master? And when I say that, there's a few things on my mind. One of them is like Sepulcher. Another one is like Black Chins. Now, I'm not talking about like the most, efficient methods, because some of these methods you wouldn't even do. But like, what do you think is a method that would take the most amount of time to really master? If you guys have any thoughts on that.
Well, master as in like getting the
Just getting at like theoretical like best rates consistently. 1.5 techniques would be another one of those like methods I'm thinking.
Yeah, definitely 1.5 tick and Sepulcher probably for me.
What do you think, JCW?
I think the same agility, wood cutting. Maybe some rune crafting. I mean, I feel like there is a wall between the people that can do like 260 versus
04,
290.
yeah, that's also one. Some
Those
people just
three,
don't
probably.
get it.
And I don't know much about Efficient Slayer, but I have heard from other people that doing Efficient Slayer like long term is kind of hard with like all the alts required and stuff. But I mean, I've never personally done it, so I have no clue. But
it definitely is draining after a whole day of Slayer, just like moving all the alts like all the time.
It does not sound fun.
The nice thing about Logout Slayer was that you could just log out, take your time to set up all the alts, and then log in and continue.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
That's true.
If you're like slaying normally, you couldn't do that.
Yeah. I know, Max, the problem was when doing that, if you got too comfortable, you would end up spending 5 hours and gain like 80k Slayer XP. It's like, whoops, where did all my time go?
Yeah, that definitely did happen sometimes.
Now, I almost already know the answer to this, but is skilling what you guys want to continue doing in the game? Do you have any interest in PVM or PKing or clue hunting or collection logging? Is there anything that kind of like sort of entices you to do those kind of things? Pet hunting is another one. or are you guys just truly dedicated skillers that don't really have much interest in other aspects of the game?
Well, I try to give PVM a shot. I still want to do this at some point. I hope, but I started a Grandmaster like journey for the combat achievements on my main account with a with like 0 bank. Like I dropped everything in my bank and I tried to like do that, but it wasn't as fun, and I just wanted to play the Ultimate Ironman, so I decided to stop that for now. But I might consider doing that after the Ultimate Ironman if I still feel like it. But
Okay.
EVM could be fun, but it's just not the same as skilling.
Yeah, and there's a lot of RNG elements to a lot of the other grinds in this
Yeah,
game.
But the thing is, like the combat achievements aren't that RNG-ish.
That's true. That isn't.
Yeah, I enjoyed ticking off some achievements. I finished Gauntlet, for example. I got all the achievements there, which was pretty fun to do. But then I kind of burned out after Gauntlet.
Yeah. Any thoughts, JCW?
Yeah, I mean, I knew for a fact I wasn't gonna have any interest or passion about PVM when I finished my Max series. So, I mean, I just immediately said, screw it. I know for a fact I'm doing Iron next. Like, there's not really anything else that I'm gonna be interested in. Like, some people are saying, like I do love the idea of going for like all Grandmasters, dropping everything. Like I was telling Max, like that sounds like a really sick, like, and fun idea, to do for like a series. But like at the same time, I knew for a fact like if I were to try that, I would be bored out of my mind just PVMing or not even bored, but like being like, how do
Well,
I get past this? You know?
yeah, the main thing that was not fun was actually not having a way to make like money. You're relying on RNG drops. So that
Right.
was the not fun aspect of it.
Would you
So I
enjoy it
might
more if you did have a totally maxed bank?
not totally max, but definitely a little bit more than 0.
Okay.
I always feel like it's all or nothing with that stuff. Like you either have everything or you don't have anything.
Yeah, that's kind of true. So I don't know. Maybe in the future I'll revisit it and rework the rules a little bit. But yeah,
Now,
I wasn't as passionate about PVM as I hoped.
your guys' main accounts are like extraordinary accounts. And do you guys ever have plans of really trying to make them the like best trophy? I guess I say trophy account. That's generally not the term you use, but like for Hebox, like would you consider trying to get your collection log up or like getting all pets, something similar to like what Hey Jace is doing, or is that just not on the table?
Well, my plan was to do the combat achievements first and then hopefully get some pets along the way and at some point maybe finish all pets. That was like in the back of my mind, but collection logging, no. 0 interest.
Why is that? Why is the 0 interest? Is it just
I
like the
don't
RNG aspect of it, or is there like certain things that you just wouldn't want to do, like clue scrolls or something?
Yeah. Mainly clue scrolls and also some stupid other things like trouble brewing and Crystal Wars.
Yeah. It's just funny because the collection log really could just be the clue log because 95% of the grind is clues.
Yep.
I mean, that's just
it's
massive.
mainly clues that I do like masters a little bit. I have like 100 masters done on my main. But yeah, I'm not gonna like spend bills on buying implinks and then just do medium clues for eternity. Like hell no.
With an account like yours, JCW, with the Skiller account, is there like a max collection log you can get? Like, have people? Well, I guess it would be so much harder because technically you actually could do all third age, but
There actually is like a level 3 community that like goes for like collection log. I personally have 0 interest in it. But I mean, the one like if I wanted to continue playing on JCW, I would finish up 99 Slayer. Like I know a lot of people have literally told me like I want you to get 99 Slayer, especially like, with the level 3 high scores being out. Because I mean, I've been the only level 3 tuner roll for like 2.5 years, and there's still no one there. Um, and I'm rank 5. It's like, why? Like, what's the point? But the thing is, I mean, I've done museum for like 2,000 hours, just like passively, like at work or whatever, and I mean. It's literally the worst content in the game. It's boring, it's slow, it's non-interactive, it's everything about it sucks. And I mean, the only way I would go back to JCW is if I could finish up 99 Slayer, and I'm waiting on another Slayer method if that were to ever come in the game. like when they accidentally added a fun weapon during my Max Cape Speedrun series, and I made that decision to like stop the speedrun series for a week and go do 600k Slayer XP. It was like really, really fun. I had a blast with it. I was funding PKers by letting them kill me because I didn't want to be bothered. So they were making bank. Everything was working out. The economy was going the way it was supposed to. So, but I mean, it got nerfed. I don't think it's going to come back anytime soon. I was somewhat hopeful with Pulse 79, but it honestly disappointed me because they said they would bring it up, and basically all they did was say, "Oh, we want to hear your thoughts on should we bring it back or not," which is kind of pointless in my opinion because I feel like the level 3 community was already very vocal with that, with the past two like accidental fun weapons in the game. So I mean, I'm just waiting for Natural Slayer method to come in. I mean, other than that, I have no desire to play JCW anymore.
I see. Okay. We're out of Twitter topics, so I guess I'll ask you guys for one shout out each. So just one person that you think deserves a shout out, maybe somebody that's underrated, or either like a content creator or somebody in the community, a JMod, anybody. So I guess we'll start with Hebox.
I want to shout out Baloo. Baloo is my best friend probably on this game. He's rank 3 of the Netherlands. He recently finished Tour de Moal, and yeah, he's a lovely guy. So shout out Baloo.
JCW?
I mean, I would probably shout out Sheep. I mean, me and him created the Essence Running Discord basically from scratch. I mean, I've known him for like 5-6 years. Met up IRL last year, like actually the only artist friend I met IRL. Yeah, I would probably have to go with that.
Hell yeah. Okay. This was lovely. I really enjoyed this conversation. Down in the description, everybody listening still, I will have the links for JCW and Box Jonge, all the Twitch, Twitter, YouTube links. Anything else you guys want linked down there?
Nah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, cool. Any final words from you guys before we wrap things up?
TY for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and rest in peace, shamanism.
There's still people that's extremely salty about that one.
Yeah, I know, and I love it, man. I was just like scrolling Twitter, just like, hey, sit down.
Just begging for a re-roll, basically. Like, please revote. Yeah. Stop the count. Yeah. Okay, well, guys, thank you for listening. This was a great. It's been a minute since we've had like a Skillers cast, So this was nice. We don't have anybody planned for next week. I will be gone, so there will be a bye week. We'll see if I'll get a guest on before May, but if not, look forward to weekly guests consistently throughout this whole entire summer. Very excited for it. I'm going to be very free for most of the summer. So thank you guys, as always, for listening. If you guys want to support the cast, down in the description, there's a Patreon link. But other than that, yeah, enjoy your day, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.